Hello everyone and welcome back to the Clash Royale Crown Championship Global Series. My name is Trid and I'm here to walk you through the EU region for the full season. We've had 5 weeks of amazing gameplay so far with the Team Queso boys still sitting on top. We're about to jump into week 6, but before we do that, follow me over to the LED wall. Let's recap our journey so far. So we had that 20-win challenge. 20 wins, no more than 3 losses. You found yourself into one of our brackets. You could have been going up against up to 1,000 people in one of these brackets and only 1 spot in the next stage of the tournament. That takes you through to Elimination Week, Phase 3. 16-player showdown, the best in EU going head-to-head. 4 groups of 4 players, and only half of them can make their way to the top 10, which is where we're at right now. We're in week 6 of that. That's going to kick off shortly. And if you've been watching the tournament so far, you know that the top 6 will be going through to the full finals on November 12th, where they'll be battling out for the crown of EU. Not only that, with a little bit of pride and also some pretty good loot as well. $15,000 available for first place, scaling all the way down to $3,500 just for making it to the top 10. Also, the top 2 finalists will find themselves at the global finals in London at the end of the year. If you've been watching the season so far, here are the new faces. You probably recognize a few of them by now. Ones to look out for: Icelaw, Soaking, Lupanji, and Loe. These are the guys who've been making waves in the top 10 and really adding a notch in their belt for the full season. Of course, we've got the returning faces, Surgical Goblin, and the #1 player from EU, as well as some fan favorites like Donkey Kong and Baron. But we know the faces. Let's have a look at the leaderboard after 5 weeks of play, and let's see how things are shaping up. Soaking and Surgical Goblin, Icelaw, the top 3 players, all from Team Queso at the moment. Alvaro is a very happy man. Moving all the way down there, Lupanji, Baron, Loe. If this was the final week, they'd be securing themselves a spot at the playoffs. But you've got Donkey Kong and Tin. These are the guys who are on the cusp of progressing to the next stage. They need to pull it out big time this week if they're looking to get some more victories. Adam and M Sensei, I don't think they can make it anymore, especially considering they won't be joining us this week. Unfortunately, they've had to forfeit their matches, so there's some default wins going over to a couple of players, and that will surely shape up the leaderboard coming into the week, but we've still got plenty of matches for you to see today. Baron versus Icelaw is what we'll kick things off with. That should be a good matchup. The guy's on the cusp of the preferential seeding, so he's gonna need to pull out some victories. And you've got Soaking going up against Loe. That should be a good matchup to follow, but as we move further on into the day, Soaking and Icelaw, this is probably my matchup of the week. #1 and #3 place, both from Team Queso, going to go head-to-head. We already know how the Team Queso boys shape up when it's Soaking versus Surgical Goblin. Let's see if Icelaw can beat the trend. And moving further on, Donkey Kong versus Lupanji. That's going to be a great matchup as well. We're going to end the day with Baron versus Donkey Kong, the #3 and #4 place finishers from Spring. But as we're about to jump into the week 6 of the tournament, let's recap about how many languages we offer you today to watch this viewing experience. Of course, we have our language partners broadcasting across Europe. So we have Spanish, French, German, Italian, and Turkish. But the gentlemen, I'm going to pass you over to our English language broadcast team, Woody and Enchanting.
Thank you, Trid. In this fall series, we are going to have bans, Woody, but before about that, let's introduce ourselves. I am Enchanting from #Gaming.
Howdy guys, I'm Woody from Reddit Alpha. And Enchanting, we also got to talk a little bit about the format for the games today. All you guys out there who've played Clash Royale know how it goes. You got 3 towers, you got to tear your opponents down before they can get to yours first, and you get to build a deck to do so with 8 cards. But in the Crown Championship fall season, we've added a little twist to it. Bans have been introduced, and players will have the opportunity to pick 1 card that neither they nor their opponents will be able to use. You see an example on screen here. Goblins and Skeletons haven't actually been banned for the first match, but just as a little taster, this is what you're going to be able to expect. Players not being able to use the kind of decks that they have been popularly winning with in the past, and also decks that they might have more experience with, because oftentimes a lot of the most popular cards get banned. Cards like Mega Knight, P.E.K.K.A, Balloon, even things like Hog Rider have been kicked out, and when these win conditions are gone, you kind of fall back on what you know. And Chattin', tell us a little bit more about this ban system and what it's been meaning for the players in the fall season so far.
Well, before we get into that, we're going to get our first match of the day.
You don't want to tell me about bans?
Versus Icelaw. Baron versus Icelaw is going to be our first match of the day, but the ban system is going to be very, very crucial in this matchup, and I'm excited to see what these two players ban in this matchup. Inferno Dragon and the first, could this be the first ever Sparky ban?
I think it might just be. I can't recall it being banned before. We've got Baron on the bottom left here. Ewiz zaps through the Goblin Barrel and no damage done whatsoever. Inferno Dragon and Sparky ban, kind of weird ban options. They're kind of niche cards. They both have seen some play, and I remember last week actually, Soaking brought out the Sparky deck and got the win with it. So its recent balance change made it a little bit more powerful. It shoots a little bit faster now, 4 seconds instead of 5 seconds. Inferno Dragon, on the other hand, usually just burns through those big old tank type attackers, things like Golem and Lava Hound. So it looks like as a result, players have been switching toward more light-based pushes here. I saw with the Logbait deck, Baron's got Minor Poison. And Shatton, can you tell us a little bit about this matchup?
Well, the thing is, when you ban Inferno Dragon and Sparky, 2 units that are very, very, very... it causes your opponent to take a zap in order to shut them down to reset their charge. Sparky, in a 4-second, attack, if you zap it, you reset it. And in Inferno Dragon, it heats up and does more damage as it goes along. A zap resets it back to its tier 1 damage. As a result, you're seeing both players have log in this matchup.
I see, yeah. We haven't quite seen it from Icelaw yet, but pretty much every Logbait deck does run log. You're right about that. Just not very many opportunities for him to use it against Baron's deck. He's running lots of high-flying creatures, the minions, and then bigger ground-based targets like Miner, Ewiz, Bandit, which aren't really that afraid of log. It can roll through those tiny little dudes pretty easily, but they're pretty sturdy. And you noticed early on, Baron got a great attack out the right lane with the Bandit, hit that tower and brought it all the way down to 734. Icelaw has pretty much only been focusing on the left lane, but Baron's happy to play both sides.
Yeah, happy to play both sides, just getting a little chip here, a little chip there. And here's the thing, he can choose whether he wants to go right or left because they're both almost equal.
He hasn't been forced to choose yet, though. He's gotten, about equal damage on each of them. Nice, solid 3-for-3 trade there. Gets the Miner to take out that Princess out back. Ice Spear not going to be enough to finish off those minions. They're going to be able to swipe down the Knight coming out in front. And it looks like the defense for Baron's going to hold up once again. Log rolls through the barrel, and every time he does that, he gets 1 elixir, right? It's a 2 elixir spell to wipe out the barrel sent in by Icelaw, and Icelaw just has not been able to connect at all the entire game.
No, and every single time he gets +1, it allows him to throw out his Miner and his Poison to get more value on the back end. Poison doing 240, and every Miner chip crucial in this matchup. Baron's just kind of chipping him down, Woody.
Sure is. With a Miner at the left side, it does get frozen, but Poison added on top means Baron is slowly eking his way toward victory. Super high value log out the right side. Kills the barrel and the Princess at the bridge. And even though Icelaw is starting to get a tiny little bit of chip out on the right side, he just is not able to overwhelm the great defensive plays from Baron here. This is what we've really come to expect from Baron, especially when he's able to play one of his favorite cards in the game, the Ewiz. A lot of players have been banning that against him recently, but the fact that he's been able to play it has definitely worked to his favor here. It's one of his favorite cards, and he's pretty much using it at every chance in the optimal setting. Look, it killed the Goblin Barrel that last time and got a few zaps against the Miner.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to outcycle the log of Baron if Baron is comfortable electro-wizarding Goblin Barrels and stopping it every time. Just to know.
Great ranged card that can hit 2 targets at a time and also has spell damage. Good game called by Icelaw. He's not all excited about playing the next few minutes of this. He rolls a log through the center, and it looks like he's probably given up. Another Poison at the left lane will get the kill. Icelaw throws the barrel at the King just to make sure his opponent knows that this thing is over on his terms.
On his terms.
Icelaw has thrown up the white flag, and that's going to be a win for Baron on the bottom. We have a best-of-3 series here, so Baron's got to claim another victory before he's the Victor Royale over Icelaw up on top, to borrow a term from Battle Royale, Fortnite Battle Royale. The Victor Royale.
The Victor. Yeah, the Victor, their first match of the set. Baron, beautifully played. When you're playing Logbait versus somebody who can utilize the Electro Wizard like that, and if you know this, guys, maybe you didn't know this, the Electro Wizard, when a Goblin Barrel's coming in from the sky, when it lands on a tower, it actually, they all spawn together. and then they pop out. So if you drop the Electro Wizard at the perfect time on your Princess Tower, you can hit all 3 of those goblins with the zap from the Electro Wizard as it comes down, and then it shoots 2, and you only take 1 stab on your tower. If that continues to happen, then you log the other one. That's really your main source of defense in that. He kept on getting those logs that not only killed barrels, but it also killed princesses as well. It just was not a fun match for Isla.
And you know what, Ewiz can get even more value if that barrel is all kind of focused on one side. Sometimes opponents will throw a barrel at you that goes at the left, the right, or way far back more often to try to juke out your log. The Ewiz can get Mondo value, just wiping them all out when that happens. We never really saw one big push from either player here, but here's an example, once again, of Baron playing perfect defense, getting great positive elixir trades using the E-Wizard out back. And, yeah, just chips away at the left side. Minor Poison, the win condition here. Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
Baron took the game, yeah.
Took the game. And he, as you saw in that replay, he played the Miner in the back right side of that left side Princess Tower, which it doesn't get targeted by the other Princess Tower on the other side. And I think it's one of the best spots to play a Miner to confuse your opponent. You know, when you've been playing it in, you know, standard, either just left or the top side the entire game. Woody, we have a match recap here. Both players using the same amount of troops. The spells 11 to 12. Really everything the same. The only difference was Baron on defense was just able to shut down every win condition that was thrown at him.
Exactly, and you know, although Isla's win conditions number on that last screen said 0, I'm going to count the Goblin Barrel as win conditions. They weren't showing up there. The thing that I did notice, though, was that even though both players were not playing Elixir Collector, Baron actually did manage to spend 6 more Elixir during the course of that battle. That means that he was not reaching 10 Elixir. He was dropping a troop every time he got a chance, and then just that little bit of momentum can really build up. You can see on Baron's side of the map here, he's playing defensive troops all over the arena anytime he needs to counter whatever Isla's thrown at him, but it's the placement of these miners that you can just kind of barely see that little yellow box on his opponent's side of the map right behind the king or the arena towers, getting them to lock on and avoiding the goblin gangs that were often set up in opposition to them was important for him to get the victory there in the first match.
Yeah, just a little chip here, a little chip there. He never overcommitted. He waited to use his minor poisons. Just like you said, every single time he logged down a goblin barrel, he got that +1 elixir advantage, and he just slowly built up. And beautiful defense leads into a great offensive assault, and you don't need to do 900, 1,000 damage on one push to win a game. Just like you saw there, there are control decks that a little bit of chip here, a little bit of chip there is sometimes better than throwing your entire army at the bridge with the miner and the poison being at 0 elixir, not being able to defend.
Oh man, I was getting antsy in chat, and I'm glad we're getting back to clashing. Left side attack is going to be a bandit clashing onto the goblins there. Ice Spirit gets the hop, and it looks like that's going to be a dash onto the left side. Great early connection for Baron, and he doesn't even activate the King Tower. I was worried a little bit about that minor placement, but it looks like it worked out very, very well for him. Damage onto both sides was devastating. Iceloss taking a huge hit.
He kind of just left the minions to just continue to assault his right side tower. He just didn't have an answer.
They do so much damage, though. You got to do something about him. I wonder if Iceloss running log again and like didn't have the zap or anything to deal with that. Usually, these top decks either run log or zap in pretty much every single case. There's a log or a zap just to be able to deal with the little swarms that are coming at you. Iceloss continuing to try to pump up. He's got a good catch out the back left. Keeping the miner off the Elixir Collector, very important, but there's a confused goblin back there. He's kind of running around the Elixir Collector, can't find his way to the miner. Unfortunate for him, Iceloss Goblin's going to get a talking to later, I imagine. Baron's bandit, however, dashes on the left lane, and once again, Baron can go left or right side here in chatting.
Yeah, Matt the Goblin there just did not perform well. After last week being the MVP, this week he's being the MVL.
Uh-oh.
Okay, minions coming on the left side. Pump coming down from Islaw. Bandit gonna be played here. Miner coming out in the back. Gonna just take down this pump. There's no answer to the miner. So much value from Baron, and a log comes in on the left. Islaw in trouble here, not really being able to formulate anything, getting to Baron's towers.
Islaw's win condition here is just getting so much more elixir that Baron doesn't have any way of dealing with it, but he hasn't been able to pump up enough yet. The Three Musketeers out the back is a good way to start off double elixir time here, but he's got to be worried about these big spells coming in from Baron. Poison can actually kill Musketeers if they stay in the circle long enough. Looks like they'll barely survive this time. Oh, actually only one survives. And Islaw knows he's out of juice once again, pumps up again in the center there, but Poison can get either tower this way. Log rolling through will be able to hit the pump. It actually kills 2 of the goblins. I think that one goblin there realized the error of his ways last time and finally avoided the log that time.
Poison on the right, just going to continue to just chip down these Musketeers every single time they're played. Log comes in on the right. I mean, Islaw can still formulate a victory. All he has to do is continue to play it slow. He kind of has a counter deck. He just needs to survive for the next, I would say, 30 seconds in this match.
I'll agree with that. I think survival is very important. Obviously, you drop a tower and it's done. We're in overtime now, so the next tower will get the win here. Islaw just has to be very careful about balancing the level of attack that he's putting out onto the field and the amount of elixir that he's trying to regenerate, because now that we're in overtime, even if he plays an elixir collector out back, Baron could theoretically just punish super hard in one lane or the other, tear a tower down, and it doesn't matter if you have more elixir if you've lost the game already, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Battle Ram going to get shut down. And just
nice hit out the left, though. Look at that! Islaw's actually torn that left side tower down to triple digits. Minions are going nuts. He's gotten it down to 194. And that is the hit that Islaw absolutely needed. He will definitely continue along that inroad. Miner chips it down to 2 hit points, and Islaw gets the win.
Oh, no. Baron just couldn't hold off. 3 Musketeer decks thrive in double elixir. They continue the pressure on the right hand, on the left hand. So just like you saw there, Baron was focused too much on the right hand side. He dropped the minions as well to defend there. Didn't really think that the minor minions were going to be able to do that much damage. And all of a sudden, your tower's down to 194. And now the game changes like that.
Instantaneously, you get behind by a few drops of elixir and those minions will really punish hard. Take a quick look at the turnaround from Islaw here. We saw a great defensive play time after time from Baron, but just a little bit of extra damage out the left side was what got Islaw the win. You can see Baron actually has quite a bit of elixir to play around with here. He's at the 5, 6, 7 mark when this big attack is coming in, but he can really only force out the defense on one lane or the other. E-Wiz is his trump card, but he uses it on the right lane instead of taking out the minions on the left. That's what really set him far behind. And overcommitment with this poison spell on the left, trying to tear that tower down. And he didn't have anything to defend against the goblins running on. And the miner actually gets the finishing blow there, but those little green dudes are about to get us some stabs in too in chatting.
Yeah, and the Ice Spirit nerf about, I would say 6, maybe like 3 months ago, 4 months ago when it went down. So the Ice Spirit plus the tower couldn't two-shot theoretically the minions there. The minions live for a whole nother shot. Tower taken 2. Not really going to be able to do it, but we have a chart here. Troops being played 33 to 28. Cards played Baron, a lot more cards, but look at the spells, Woody. 11 spells from Baron and 4 from Islaw. Islaw only had a zap in his deck, was the difference there, so he wouldn't have been able to really punish Baron if he wasn't able to take that tower all the way down to 194. You know, at that point, it's a miner and a zap, and all of a sudden your tower's dead.
Exactly. But you can see kind of how the different decks were being played to their own advantages. Islaw managed to get a lot more elixir in that last game. 128 he dumped. You know, I can't understand some of these numbers that come up on screen, but I definitely know what it means when you're playing more elixir. That means you got more troops on board, you're throwing out more spells, you are playing more aggressively into the late game because you know in the early game you're going to be a little behind. Playing a 6 elixir collector really leaves you open to a big attack. Man, if I were down 6 elixir, that's it's like 2 elite barbarians. Whoa, that's a minion horde and ice spirit. How do we get to 6? I don't know. All the different ways. Right. I don't want to give you nightmares, but that's just how you got to conceptualize it. Yep. Down 6 elixir means that you open yourself up to a big attack, and these pros can defend pretty damn well. I'll tell you, I see in the first 2 minutes you can play an elixir collector and sometimes only take a few hundred damage on your tower if you know what you're doing. But late game, that's when the snowball effect really starts to build up.
Yeah, it starts to build up, and as you saw, just the 3 Musketeers, just too much at the end. When you drop the 3 Musketeers, probably the most cost-efficient card in the entire game, being 9 elixir for 12 elixir worth of troops. you know, it slowly builds up and turns out into a victory if it goes later and later into the match. The later it goes, Three Musketeers get stronger and stronger every second after double elixir time. But we're gonna go into match number 3. Baron, Ice Law. Winner is going to take our first set of the day. Bandit coming in on the left for Baron. Ice Golem coming out for Ice Law. Minions as well to clear it out. Kind of just slow playing here, seeing which decks one another is playing. Nothing really too much going on. The pro players, what they like to do is they like to get to know every single card in an opponent's deck before they go out and really try to punish their opponent, because otherwise you're going to be left vulnerable, not knowing their cycle, and you could take a minor minions and all of a sudden your tower dies.
Yeah. That last exchange, really important for Ice Law. He was in a lot of trouble there. Baron throwing that minor minion clump at him. Ice Law has taken a note from Baron, though. He's running Ewiz this time. He knows how powerful that guy can be. You know, he recently got his power reduced. He does, I think, 4 less damage per hit under tournament standard, but he still is just so versatile. Splash damage, single target damage, the ability to stun and reset the targeting of whatever he hits. So useful, and the top players really know how to get the best value out of it. Yeah. Baron throwing in a naked log this time. I guess he will manage to hit the goblin over there, but it just rolls through one of them. It's just a little bit of chip damage at the left, and that's what Baron's preferred style of play was in the first and second game. I don't see any reason for him to quit playing that kind of quick game in this third matchup here.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a game where Baron didn't run a Lecture Wizard when it wasn't banned on him.
I don't think so, yeah. But check this out. We got 2 P.E.K.K.A.s coming on in, and a Graveyard from Ice Law. Massive investment out the left lane and a commitment hard to try to tear this tower down. Will Baron's defense hold up?
I don't know. That Ice Spirit, though, able to take down the P.E.K.K.A. of Ice Law, leaving Baron's P.E.K.K.A. alive. Miner coming in on the left. The P.E.K.K.A., it might only have 1 life, but Woody, the most important thing about this
Bandit.
game...
Oh, she survives, but P.E.K.K.A. goes down. She's got a ton of hit points, but could not keep the fuel up. And it looks like this push is going down. We got a double poison at the left. Baron and Ice Law playing both offensive and defensive poisons. Looks like that Ewiz is going to get taken out, and as a result, Ice Law's going to pull ahead in damage, kiting those minions over to the right lane. Baron's turn to attack there. It's a miner in the back. P.E.K.K.A. starts to go toward him, but gets dashed on by the Bandit and dunks on the Bandit.
Dunks!
Finishes it off. Ice Law is building up for a big attack, but Baron's got plenty of elixir to defend a P.E.K.K.A. of his own as they're about to reach each other on the left side bridge.
Yeah,
and chatting.
The Ice Spirit is the MVP right now, just continuing to freeze the P.E.K.K.A., allowing Baron's P.E.K.K.A. to get off an extra 2 shots, but oh, Skeleton's distracted!
You can see that's a defensive poison set up by Baron. The little poison cloud on the outside ring is blue, so you know that's set up to defend and keep that tower alive. Graveyard pulls it down to the triple digits, and this is a pretty nice little stabby attack from Baron out the left. Miner chips it down to 759 damage, and he's doing pretty well. Ewiz zaps onto both the goblins and the P.E.K.K.A., and it's looking like Ice Law's next push is dead on arrival. Minion's going to help out as well, but the P.E.K.K.A. gets the hit on the Ewiz, and that's got to hurt.
Yeah, Miner continuing to get chip damage off on the left-hand side. Baron just chipping away, but can he hold on? This Graveyard push is going to be huge, but a defensive poison.
Double poison. Offensive and defensive. Poison probably the best spell counter to the Graveyard. It kills skeletons in 1 hit, and it affects the entire radius there. But if it's a little bit too slow on that tick, it could be a lot of damage on tower. We got a nice hit in over here from the left side. Miner does connect early on, but gets retargeted by that Ewiz on defense. Ice Law and Baron both at the 400 damage mark. 8 hit points separate these 2 guys on the left side.
This is really close right now. Here it is. Can he defend this? The Bandit, the poison on offense. The Miner coming in on the left-hand side for Baron. Is he going to be able to take this game? The lock coming in. Oh, gonna clear it out.
Not just yet, but the poison's going to be able to finish it off. Get Ice Law cycle back to something. Throw some damage on the tower, Ice Law. 1 hit point, and it falls. Baron gets the win with 28 hit points left. It's pretty dark in that room, but I think I see a thumbs up. The ghost of Baron rises again, and he reclaims victory in this matchup.
Oh, man, that's one of those situations where you jump in that Miner, you pray you can defend the push. The Miner of your hand is just going to town on the tower, so you're not going to really have enough elixir to defend the Miner. All you got to do is defend. Baron, 28 HP is all he needed to win. 1 more skeleton, he winds up losing that game.
Dang.
Calculated.
A game of inches. Calculated indeed. That is so close, guys. There's nothing in the game that does 28 damage. At all.
Yeah, skeletons do 31, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Or more than that. I mean, they kill each other in one hit, right? And they got like 60-something hit points.
60, yes.
Anyways, take a look at the final moments of this game, guys. Icelot throws another graveyard on top of everything that he's sent so far. But great defense from Baron, keeping it up. The Miner, in the meantime, for Baron, goes on in.
Yeah, and he just defended just well enough. It's these pro players, they know exactly what they can do. Instead of defending, he threw out the Miner instead of throwing more elixir on defense there. Knew he was just going to be able to survive there. I don't think he knew it was going to be that close, but nevertheless, that's the difference between somebody sitting in the booth and somebody playing in the game.
Oh my God, I know I get sweaty palms whenever the situation gets that close over there. But hey, something I noticed, Icelot actually was getting quite a bit of good cycle at the end of the game there. Threw some minions down, threw an Ice Spirit down, had like 1.8 elixir, I'm gonna call it. We didn't quite get the second elixir, but that would have been enough to throw the zap on tower, and that would have finished it off. There's no way to stop a zap. It's instantaneous.
Yeah.
And it does 28 damage, I tell you what. It does 60-something damage, 64 damage, I think, right?
Yeah, 64. That tournament, that tournament standard, 68.
68? Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
What did
I say, 64?
I was like, yeah, now you're confusing me. Now
think about Nintendo 64 out here.
Yeah, N64. That was a great game back in the day. Spells used 15 to 11 of Baron's. Icelot needed the 16th spell to finish off that game, just never got there. Baron, though, the 40 troops played versus 29, had a lot quicker of a cycle deck. Definitely cycled through his deck faster, got, the presence on the field. And the thing about Baron is he controlled that game and just held on. When you're playing versus a graveyard deck, you just got to make sure you never take that one just wham, bam, your tower's gone type attack coming in at you. So he defended, never took more than 400 damage on a push, and was able to win that game.
Clutch victory for Baron there. Very good for him. He was previously in 5th place, and the victory here over Icelot means that he is moving up. Icelot was performing very, very well earlier. He was 3rd place ranked, and along with the rest of the Team Queso guys, held that top spot. You can see the heat map there where the cards were getting played, but dang, the left side combat was getting so hot at the end. I can't believe it's not just like a red inferno on the left side of the map entirely. We went deep into overtime that one. And I could have even seen that one go into a 2-1 victory if they had torn their opposing towers down at the exact same second. We saw that before at CCGS. You remember, I don't know if it was a week or 2 ago, when if you're in overtime, if you both kill each other's towers at the same time, it just keeps going until the next tower goes down.
It just keeps on going, keeps on going. But let's get into our next matchup, Soaking versus Lowe. This is going to be a great match. We have our #1 player currently in the standing, Soaking at 11-2. Lowe sitting at 7-6. Lowe is going to take out the Princess from the equation, the ban card for Lowe, and Soaking is going to take out the Electro Wizard. So maybe we might even see bait with Dark Goblin instead of Princess here. Princess mainly used in 2 different type of architects right now. It's the Hog Mini P.E.K.K.A. Princess deck and the Log Bait deck, which we talk so much about, which relies on the Goblin Barrel, the Princess, and the Goblin Gang as the 3 main cards in that deck. That deck has actually been changing throughout the meta, with the Tesla getting in for the Inferno Tower. Now, Woody, do you like the Inferno Tower version of Log Bait, the Tesla Tower version of Log Bait, or the Tornado Tower of Log Bait the best?
I think that I like the Inferno Tower version the most, and here's the reason why. Tesla works kind of better against those mid-range and kind of slightly chippier style decks. Tornado can work really well against like Hog Riders, Miners, or other Goblin Barrels being thrown at your tower. But the Inferno Tower is what I gotta rely on to burn through the golems, burn up the lava hounds, shoot down those big old P.E.K.K.A.s, Mega Knights. Those guys have been all over the map recently. And even though Zap is really good at resetting the Inferno, I'm not really confident in the Tesla yet. It's just not big enough. You know, that little 2x2 building, it sometimes doesn't pull the troops the way that I want it to. It feels a little awkward. Tornado onto the King Tower is not really going to work out for a P.E.K.K.A., and I don't know. That's just my feeling, chat.
Yeah,
I like the Inferno Tower.
Great. Oh! Good play right there with the Night Witch stopping the Miner. from Loe. Loe's playing this good. He has a pump. And the one thing that you never want to have happen is for your opponent to pump and him to stop your counter to the pump right off the bat.
Instantaneously, yeah. Loe's got a lot more elixir to play around with, but he did take a big hit on the left side, down to 1770. It's not looking too good for him. He's going to have to push hard with this next attack. He's really committing a lot of attack to this lane. The battle ram and the minions are about to reach it over there. Soaking is out of elixir, and he's got nothing to do. He'll spell on top.
Oh no, the minion's going to destroy the tower, and just like that, the elixir advantage.
Dang, I was really worried that Loe was going to sit back on his butt and try to get more juice, but he really put it on the line right there. Flopped it down on the table and right onto Soaking's head. That left lane is torn apart in the first minute, and another catch. Miner in the back to try to get that pump down, but Loe is playing so confidently and strong right now. Gangstar's player in the 6th place spot wants to move on to the next stage of this tournament, and if he beats the first place guy, he very well may do so.
Yeah, if you take down the first place guy, it does a lot for your confidence, especially when he's sitting at 11-2. The heel coming down once again. The Night Witch, good defense from Soaking, though. He does have the second pump. He has the pump advantage. Can Soaking formulate a push to get back into this game? It looks like it's going to be Musketeers versus Musketeers. Soaking does not have the heal, but he does have a little bit of an advantage on Elixir. Coming out, it's going to be very interesting to see if he can actually formulate a push strong enough to get through Loe's defense.
Heal Spell was one of the most terrifying cards a few months ago before it got nerfed, and I never really thought that the nerf was going to be enough. It turned out players did turn away from the Heal Spell, but moving back toward it, Loe has really gotten a great surprise effect against Soaking, but can he hold off this big push out the left? We got a minion horde flying through, and it's a counter minion horde on defense. Log from Loe, not going to be able to work that out. Soaking's minions soaring high are going to tear that tower down.
Oh wow, the miner just came in there to soak, and he's also going to take down the pump to add insult to injury. Whenever your tower dies and then a pump dies, that is the worst feeling in the game.
The Soaking strikes back. Loe on return has shown his first play of those 3 Musketeers, moving on in, 2 in the right, 1 in the left. Battle ramp to protect him, but it goes down before it even starts to charge. We got a lot of troops moving in for Soaking on the right, though. He's tearing this thing apart. Minions chopping that tower down, and the Musketeer does not have any splash damage to deal with him. And Chatton, that was an amazing turnaround by Soaking. Well played to him. He takes the first game of the series.
That was, and just like you said, the heal spell, the nerf on the heal spell, I think may have been the difference of that game. It just doesn't have, you know, it just isn't as strong as it once was. It doesn't have, you know, that presence that it once had in the game. And you saw there, he used the heal. Yeah, it was great on offense, but when you have to use defensive heals now, when the Muskies are coming at you, it just doesn't heal fast enough to take your troops and not kill it. I mean, you have 3 Musketeers hitting it at the same time. You have the Miner coming in. You have the Bandit dashing out. You got the Minion Horde as well. It just... now it just doesn't heal it fast.
And I want it to do work, because Zap, the Log, Poison, those are all really popular spells. And heal is like built to be able to counter them, right? It gets a little bit more juice back on those troops that got damaged already. That was such a good early play from Loe, and I thought that he was going to carry the game with that. But as you saw there, it did not have the bigger deck. Soaking taking great advantage of double elixir time to be able to tear through the left lane. I think that the other difficulty for Loe there was that he was running Log instead of something like Zap or Arrows to be able to take care of these flying critters. Heal Spell up on top for Loe does tear the left side tower down, but as we all saw, Soaking turns this thing around.
Yeah, he turns it right around, and it's the pumps, you know. Look at this pump. Very, very healthy for Soaking. Yes, he's down in elixir here. A pump comes out from Loe. Just never was really able to formulate another push to take down Soaking's second tower in this match. And Soaking, just getting that one push off on the left, got down the tower. Now he's saying, okay, I know you're not going to be able to take a second tower of mine. I just got to play this strategically, and I will take the victory. And that is why he is currently 11-2, Woody.
Exactamundo. And as we've seen before, Soaking play so well in the long game. We've seen situations where players will just give up. They say, you know what, I'm down a tower. I can't turn this thing around. It's over. Let's get to the next game. Soking never gives up, and he plays so very well when there's many things happening at once on the board. It's like he's got like a macro computer in his head. He just is able to calculate all the different angles of attack everywhere he needs to place the troop, and he doesn't get distracted at all. I'm not saying that Loe does, but Soking has really set himself apart from the crowd as the #1 player in this region right now because he's able to process so many different interactions happening at once.
Yeah, and not only that, when you're sitting 11-2 so far above the pack, the only person who's really kind of near you at this point is Surgical Goblin. You kind of have some breathing room, so if something goes wrong in a match or you start losing, you can keep your composure because you know, let's just say, even if you lose the matchup, it's not really going to matter that much to you. But as far as Loe needing this game, he's 7-6. He's kind of, really close to, we have Tindala at 5-8. You lose this game, you go down to 7 losses. Tindala can come right back up and drop you out. You're only 1 loss away.
He's playing in his element right now. It looks like both guys have chosen the same deck archetype. They're going, apparently, for log bait. Soking with a little bit of a mix-up, though. He's got Spear Goblins in there. They recently got a little bit buffed, and they've been performing quite well. The fact that both E-Wizard and Princess are banned means that these guys are just lacking for the spell and ranged splash damage on defense. In fact, Soking actually banned E-Wizard and Princess in both games last week, and is quite familiar with this sort of setup. The fact that Soking and Loe both happen to choose the same sort of card to ban means that whoever can play in a world where that splash damage doesn't exist is going to eventually get the win.
Yeah, and it's so surprising how we've been seeing a little bit of Spear Goblins pop up, recently, and they only got a 0.2 second speed attack burst. Yeah. And just goes to show you, even a 0.1 second could be the difference in this game of being a card being great. Ooh. And a card being not that, powerful.
Right. Well, nice little stab out there on the right side by Soking. Loe is counterattacking with an Ice Golem to block for these Spear Gobbles, but they're going to get gobbled up by a Knight. This match went to a 2-0 victory for Soking the last time we saw it, but they were playing a lot heavier decks. P.E.K.K.A. and Ewiz were banned last time, and I believe it was a Hog deck from Soking that wound up beating Loe, who was running something like Mega Knight. Yeah. The fact that they're both playing really kind of chippy decks and more ranged troops this time really shows the diversity in their playstyle options. A nice hit out the right from Loe, though. The Barbarians and Minions tear that tower down to half hit points.
Yeah, the Goblin Gang to stop the barrels, and currently Loe is coming back here. Soking, it's going to be very difficult in the later stages of this match of Soking being able to stop the 3 Musketeers that Loe is going to be put on the field. Soking kind of in trouble here. Pump comes down from Loe just to bait out the rocket so he can drop down his Muskies. And there it is. Musketeers probably going to be played here from Loe, and we're going to see his final card.
Ooh, it's the Musketeers, and Soking might be in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to play an Inferno Tower in the back, but it doesn't really work very well against what Loe has been throwing at him. There's no big single target for it to burn up. Soking adds on a Dark Goblin on defense, but I don't know if he's going to be able to keep this attack off.
No, the Minion Horde the Minion Horde is one of the best units in the game to stop an Inferno Tower, and that Inferno Tower doesn't do anything. Muskie on the left doing damage. He's got to stop the right. There's still 2 Musketeers alive and Minions. This is going to be a tower on the right-hand side, and just like that, Loe is going to tie this up 1-1.
Soking cracks his knuckles. He's getting ready for game 3 because he knows that this one is definitely over. No way to tear that tower down. And with the Muskies on the left, he's going to soak that rocket barrel, but it doesn't even matter. Tear it down, and that's going to be a 2-0 victory for Loe.
2-0 tower lead for Loe. Gonna get him the match, and that was a pretty dominating win from Loe coming back after the first match, being a little bit closer. That second one, Loe definitely, was ready for that matchup. 3 Musketeers being kind of what we're seeing in this matchup. Do you think we're gonna see it again in match 3 from one of these players?
I'm not expecting it. I think that it was kind of a chance occurrence to see the match for 3 Musketeers in the first one. It was a great punish in that second game, though. So, hey, if it worked, you might bring it back. I think that the storyline that's a little bit more interesting to me, though, is the fact that Loe is kind of emerging as this wild card candidate, kind of in the same vein as Lupanji, where you may underestimate him, until he beats the top player in the game, right? Loe defeated Surgical Goblin in their previous matchup, and now he's tied up 1-1 against Soking.
Yeah.
Loe definitely has legs, man. He could run all the way to the finish line.
That we could, but let's watch where everything goes south when Loe is about to drop his 3 Musketeers and start the push. And here it is. The 3 Musketeers are down, the minion horde shutting down the Inferno Tower, and the Muskie's just too much. There's a Muskie on the left, there's 2 Musketeers on the right. Soking just was not able to defend this push.
Totally whomped him on both the left and right lanes. Soking tried to defend, I guess, a little bit out the left and right, but I think that having to dump 5 Elixir into an Inferno Tower, which gets basically no work done at all, while you're staring down a push that is so massive after you've thrown away your rocket, that was just a perfect punish by Loe. I don't think that there could have even conceivably been a better situation for him to attack in against an opponent who just dumped a rocket that's 6 Elixir and an Inferno Tower that's 5 more Elixir, doing basically nothing to your push.
Yeah, and the thing was, is Loe had that 3 steps ahead to where he knew he pumps. If the pump doesn't get taken out, he wins the game. If the pump does get taken out, he wins the game. And that's a great situation to be in. But let's look at the recap. Cards played from Soking, 27, 20 from Loe. Soking, you know, troops played 14, but to look at the spell difference, Soking dropping 11 spells, but the thing was, Loe only had 1. He had the triple Musketeers. Yes, you have a rocket in your deck. Yes, you have a log in your deck, but a rocket isn't that great against that 3 Musketeers because you got to take out the pump, and that's really your only way to take out a pump. You don't have a miner. Goblin Gang on a pump really isn't going to do much. A Goblin Barrel, sorry about that, on the pump. Not going to be able to take it out, and if that pump survives, you lose the game if you're, the log bait player, and just like you saw, if you rocket it,
Not looking too hot, but let's take a quick look back at where the cards got played in that last game. A heat map from Loe in this case. He's almost focused solely on the right side. I never even really realized that. I thought he played troops over on the left in chat. And what am I looking at here?
Yeah, you're looking at, just an assault from Loe on the right-hand side, I guess. Well, here's the thing. The Musketeers split on the left. Maybe the Battle Ram, I think maybe if you only play 1 card in one spot, it doesn't show up. It's a heat map of multiple cards in one spot.
I feel like I'm pretty sure that I saw a Goblin Gang run it into the left. But at any rate, that right side tower did go down first. That was the big hit that Loe got, and I don't know. Maybe we'll have some mathematicians take a look at that heat map later and tell us what they can divine from those card placements and such. I'm really looking forward to this Game 3, though. Seeing Loe get a chance to move back toward the top. I don't think that he can get top 2 at this point. He's still middle of the pack, but he will definitely cement himself in the top 6 and be able to move on if he can get the win here. I think that that is an extremely important achievement and something that is within his grasp right now. On the other hand, Soking in the #1 spot can probably stand to take a loss here, actually, and still be in the top 2 placement. We've actually got an interesting setup for the next stage of this tournament. If you're in the top 2 places, you get a free win in the double elimination bracket. That's moving on further and potentially getting even more money. Yeah. Getting a top placement is very important here. Wow, look at Soking's
Sparky on the back, and just like
Loe shakes his head.
Just like you said, the last player, the 7th place player, 7-7. Loe's only 7-6, so this is a very important game.
A nice defense over here on the left side. Ooh, gets zapped down. Mini-Pekka's going wild.
Ooh.
Great setup by Loe, though. He's got plenty of answers to that little Mini-Pekka coming on through.
Hey, look, it's the first ban cards in the first match. Inferno Tower and Inferno Dragon and Sparky. They had a little fiesta on the right.
What are the odds? Yeah, they couldn't make it in last time. They were sitting on the bench, but now they've made it into the game. Mega Knight coming in from Loe. Interesting. I was looking a little bit more for some just like slow and,
slow and steady wins the race.
Hog cycle. Yeah, but Loe is actually going pretty heavy and might be making big pushes later with this big guy.
Yeah, well, the Sparky's definitely going to shut it down. Does he have a zap? Oh, the misplayed on the zap, the 4 seconds instead of 5 from the Sparky. Definitely Loe was. That's the difference. A little bit of change on pro players. They have it cemented in their head exactly when they need to do things, and even a split-second change could be the difference of a missed zap there.
And it's super important, not just for that first hit and getting it off, but if you're up against something like a Mega Knight or a Pekka, you're theoretically going to get 2 shots off against that thing. If you go for 2 shots in 8 seconds, that's a lot better than 2 shots in 10 seconds. Loe's shaking his head. He's not happy about that right side hit out there. Soaking, applying the same sort of pressure. About to get a mini pack on. What the what? Two. Oh, almost two shots. Just one hit, though. Nice zap by Loe.
2 elixir, though, for it.
Ooh, yeah.
Ugh. Ugh. Can he formulate a push?
Is Soaking about to win with Sparky?
Yeah, he
Again?
is.
He won last week with Sparky as well.
Mega Knight.
Uh-oh.
There it is. He's going to pull it into the Sparky. This is what you need to do with Sparky. Pull it into the lane of the Sparky. The mini pack is easily going to shut down the Hog Rider, and the Sparky just going to town on that Mega Knight.
Boom, hitting it hard. Soaking not afraid to go for the 2 crown here. Sends in a big attack at the left that gets fireball down. But what's he got to deal with Sparky? I don't know. A lot of things counter it, but he's got to send in something.
He's got to waste 5 elixir for it.
Yeah, just the zap and the goblins take it out, but man, Sparky unsupported, probably one of the worst cards in the game.
Yeah.
Sparky on defense and with support, probably one of the best cards in the game. It's just so hard to build up those situations where you can actually get value out of it.
That's true, but can Soaking get this push off? Here comes the mini pack on the left-hand lane with the Mo. Is he going to be able to do it? You got to stop the Sparky.
Hold on, it's charging up. A little too late. Almost got the shot, and that would have been enough. It does 1,100 damage now that it's been reduced in health a little bit, but a big attack coming in from Loe. He might be able to punish here.
Yeah, Hog Rider on the right-hand side. The arrows come off, but the arrows really aren't going to do much.
Just this Mega Knight, if he gets onto the tower, that's a lot of damage. Inferno Dragon threatening too. And this defense was so expensive for Soaking. Look how much more elixir Loe has now.
Unbelievable amount of elixir. He's going to punish right now. Inferno Dragon coming in on the right-hand side with the Mega Knight. It's clobber and dive on the tower.
Oh, man, this is the killing blow, the coup de grace. Loe sends in the final attack and gets the victory over Soaking.
Oh, man, he needed that so much. Loe coming back, just like you saw. One play changed the entire game. And wow, if you waste that much elixir and you have to, you know, panic a little bit, a pro player at this level is going to take advantage of it. Loe playing that beautifully. Sparky not going to get the victory. I believe that kind of hurts her win percentage in the EUCCGS. She was rocking 100%. Now she's going to be rocking, I believe, a 66% because that was the 3rd time she's been played. Won twice, now she's 2-1, but wow, Loe, impressive.
I love Soaking for bringing that Sparky in, trying to find a way for it to work. And dang, in single elixir time, definitely got the better edge against Mega Knight and all those bigger pushes coming on in. But in double elixir time, it was a little bit more difficult to build up the pushes necessary to actually get value out of her. You know, he was poking and prodding at the left and the right side. You saw a big attack coming in from him a little bit later in the game that just got whomped down by a fireball. Loe on defense was frustrated, I think, for the first minute and a half or so, but as time went on, he turned things around. And that's the thing about Clash Royale, man. You can't rest on your laurels. Every game is a different game. Every 3 minutes is a chance to prove that you're the best.
But let's watch this
torn apart.
Let's watch the last play of the game where the Mega Knight just clobbers down the tower and just gets, the miner not being able to be instantly deployed there was the difference between that Mega Knight getting onto the tower or the Mega Knight clobbering onto the miner.
2-1 matches so far, and they've both been razor-thin margins of victory for these guys. 28 hit points left on Baron's Tower, and just such a close game there at the end. You know, Loe really did build up a big, heavy push that Soaking wasn't able to shut down, but I would have said for the first minute and a half that Soaking was going to win that thing. He was so far ahead.
Yeah, he was in complete control. He just was not able to formulate that last push. I think it all went wrong when he dropped the mini P.E.K.K.A. on the left-hand lane with the miner, just wasn't able to do any damage on that push, and then got punished on the back end on the right. But
Loe knows how to punish on that back end. Sure he does, doesn't he?
That he does. And Soaking versus, you know, Loe, he's still, I think he's still in the lead because Surgical Goblin only is 10-3. Right now, Soaking is 11-3. So he still is ahead of Surgical Goblin.
Okay.
So he's still sitting at the top of the podium here. But our next matchup,
I think Surgical Goblin's definitely going to get a win, too, over Adam. The match 5 is getting canceled.
Next
so
match,
they're tied now. They're neck and neck. But let's send it back to someone who's got a little bit cooler head to analyze these numbers for us. Trid, what do you got for us, man?
Well, what I have for you, Woody, is someone who's very important to the league. He was the EU champion back in spring, and he's looking to do it again in the fall. And you were right, actually. He's tied first place at the moment with his partner on Team Queso with an 11-3 record. It is, of course, Surgical Goblin. Thanks very much for joining man, take a seat, take a seat. So I'm going to kick things off, and we're just going to talk about that last match because it has a lot of implications for yourself. Soaking, unfortunately, did lose there. You've got a default win from Adam already, so you're currently tied for first place with Soaking at the moment. He's your teammate, I'm sure he's your friend as well, but knowing that information, how does it make you feel?
I mean, of course, as you said, like, he's my teammate and one of my best friends in the game. But of course, it makes me happy because it allows me to be more sure of the top 2 spot. Because of course, it's a competition. I want to win, and if he loses, that's good for me, I guess.
Kind of good for you, I guess. Obviously, you want one of your Team Queso teammates to be in that preferential seeding with you. Probably will still be the case. I don't think Soaking's going anywhere. But anyway, so last time we saw each other was back in spring out in Burbank. You've been very busy since then, because I know you've got a couple more titles under your belt. Yeah,
exactly. I went to Spain to play in Game Police, and I won that one. And I also went to Germany for ESWC Gamescom, and I also won that one.
Yeah, but your finals opponent was actually Soaking again. So I guess kind of the first question is, what has changed between Gamescom and now that Soaking was able to 2-0 you in the group stage?
I think in general, Soaking improved a lot. Like, he practices a lot, and he just, in general, he improved a lot, as I said. And I also think, like, with the matchups and the bans in this format right now, I think he had better matchups. So, he won because of that,
That's good, but I'm glad you mentioned the bans, because obviously you're one of the only people I can speak to about this being involved in spring and in fall. What do you actually think of the ban system coming into play?
I think it's interesting. Like, for some people, it could work as an advantage. I'm a versatile player, but to be honest, I'm not a really big fan of it because it can also influence your game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds surprising to me because I always imagined you as a very versatile player who wouldn't really be affected by the ban system. So it's interesting to hear that it's you don't really have it as an advantage, shall we say, over some people who are, shall we say, more one-dimensional in their play style. I guess where I'd like to kind of cover a little bit more is the balance update last week, because it was a very short notice between the Monday patch release and the actual matchups on Tuesday. How did the balance update affect your play last week, do you think?
I think, of course, for everyone it was a disadvantage, but for me also, like as I said, for everyone. So I had the Expo deck for the last game with Tesla, and Tesla got buffed. And then Soaking brought out a deck which I've never seen before, which was the Giant Cycle with Cannon Card. So unfortunately, like, it was a really hard counter, and that made me lose the best of 3.
Made you lose the best of 3, unfortunately. That was the second one. But with the balance update as well, now people have had a chance to have a week to play with it. They've a little bit more experience with it. So do you think we're going to see some more influence of that balance update this week when we're playing?
Yeah, actually, we just saw it. Soaking was using Sparky in the last game, and I have some surprise decks ready too.
Okay, and I just need to remind you, next match as well is Ice Law versus Soaking. So it's 2 of your teammates up the head. I know you don't necessarily want to pick sides because they're on the same team. Who do you think will take that matchup?
I think Soaking will take it, but I hope Islaw, because then I would be #1.
Yeah, you'd be #1. And you were actually speaking to me when we were just watching that last match. Because Islaw lost to Baron, he's now got, there's a little bit more of a gap between you in 2nd and 3rd place. Do you think anyone in that top 6 at the moment could possibly knock Islaw out of that 3rd place in the next 2 weeks?
I think Lowe definitely could, but my next match is versus Lowe, so I hope he won't.
Yeah, you hope he won't pick up another win against yourself.
Exactly.
I mean, it'd be a big day for him if he takes down the 2 top players in 1 week.
Yeah, that's true.
But obviously, don't wish that was the case. I wish you all the best for your matches this week, Serge. We're going to throw it back to Woody and Chat, who will bring us the next couple of games.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see because our next matches, we're going to have Soaking versus Islaw. So all that talk about 1st and 2nd place on the leaderboards, that's about to change in this next 2 matchups.
Can you believe the surgical savage out there hoping that his teammate loses so that he can move up?
Yeah,
of course you gotta hope that, but wow.
You can't not root for that, though. You kind of gotta... Listen, if you're going to be in a tournament like this, if you're going to be playing for a grind pros pool of the total prize pool $1 million, you got to want to be first.
$1 million this year, and a lot of it's going to be given away in the next stage. We're going to have to find out who goes to the World Finals based upon who the champ at the European Finals are, though. Islaw bringing in that 3 Muskie ban. Soaking going for the E-Wiz. Once again, he's banned it quite often. He banned it this last match, and he's going for it again. Islaw has also banned Three Musketeers before, I believe, but I know that he saw a lot of Three Musketeers play that last match, and he said, I don't want any part of that, right?
Yeah, no part of the Three Musketeers, so we're not going to see the three gorgeous ladies, and we're not going to see, you know, the guy with crazy hair in this matchup. Going to be great matchup to see. Soking coming off the loss, can he recover in time, get the victory, and then remain on the top of the podium here? Because if he loses this matchup, it's going to go Surgical Goblin's going to flip-flop with Soking. And then Surgical Goblin plays right after.
Exactly, you're right again. Well, it's a queso duel, guys. We have seen Soking defeating Surgical Goblin a time or two here in the arena. These guys are going to be duking it out again for one of those top 2 spots. It's never good to have to go up against a brother in arms, but fratricide is the name of the game right now, guys. In the past, we've seen Soking and Islaw go up against each other. Soking got the 2-0 victory this previous time. He might be able to prove that he's the top dog of queso if he gets this win again.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You said Surgical Goblin was rooting for his teammate to lose, but he's also rooting for his teammate Islaw to win. You missed that one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's got it's a win-win, lose-lose. I don't know how you look at that.
Lose-win. But nevertheless, I'm excited to see Islaw Soking. One of the top players. He's run Sparky now. I believe he's the only one to run Sparky, or maybe not. I know he's at least run it twice already. Is he going to continue to innovate the decks? Because once we saw the new patch drop versus Surgical Goblin last week, he used pretty much 2 or 3 decks that nobody's really seen before, utilizing the new buffs in Clash Royale. So is he going to continue to, use these unique kind of decks like you saw there with, a Sparky, maybe Spear Goblins as well he's been using? Is he going to continue to do that, or do you think he continues to do what got him here, what got him cemented into the first place spot, and go back to safer options, more like log bait type style of play?
I like to see the ballsy moves in Chen. I gotta tell you, man. I like to see when they come up with something completely new that you'd never expect. I think that's what gets you the wins in these really close games. The balanced updates, of course, come out about every month or two, and they help to kind of shake up the way that these guys use their favorite cards. If we see a card is a little bit too powerful, wins a little bit too much, it might get a little bit of a power reduction in chat. But the ones that haven't been used at all, cards like Valkyrie, cards like Spear Goblins, even something as big as Sparky gets an opportunity to shine once again. And even though it didn't get the win this last time, Soking has shown that he's willing to come out with something completely different that you might not be prepared for, that might surprise you and tear a tower down if you're not ready to get that clutch response in time. I think that he's going to bring at least one more crazy deck here. I know Surgical Goblin wants to bring something crazy. He told me that he's got something wacky to bring. I can't share exactly what it is just yet.
I mean,
we're not going to see him in this next match either, so that's just a little teaser for later on. Stick around for the Surge match. But Soking versus Islaw, very important matchup. Both top-ranked guys on the same team. A little bit of a wave there from Soking as he throws in the first Goblin Barrel.
Yeah, the Goblin Barrel coming in on the right-hand side. Islaw just going to slowly do it. First sections of the match are just seeing what your opponent is playing, kind of get a feel.
This Princess going to hold on. Oh, yeah, she does. Nicely played there by Soking. And a cannon card coming on in to support the next push from Islaw. Looks like he's going to add on with a Night Witch, and that cannon card's going to get a lot of damage out. I don't think it's going to be able to reach the opposing tower. Oh, a missed zap leaves one of those bats alive. Could have been a crazy exchange if we got a nice golem to block for it, but looks like he's going to soak for this Goblin Barrel instead.
Oh,
nice zap in there!
Yes, that Princess is enough to take out Goblins, and just like that, Soking gets a lot of damage off on the right-hand lane. Is he going to do anything about this? No, he's going to swipe right twice. He liked what he saw.
Well, I hope it's a match for him. Down to 2018 on that right side. He is living in the future, I guess. 1660 on the right for Islaw. A little bit further behind. Nice rocket in from Soking here. Shows the 7th card in his deck now. Hard counter to the Elixir Collector, preventing Islaw from juicing up for that Elixir advantage. What do you think of the last 2 cards in Islaw's deck? I don't recognize this archetype at all. Is it Golem, maybe?
It's probably Graveyard and...
Oh, okay.
Ice Golem?
Oh,
Poison.
Okay, good call there.
I don't know why I didn't... I don't know why I was like, wait, what? Graveyard
Poison does work really well with Graveyard. I think that I'm leaning more toward your line of thinking here. Cannon Card is a pretty heavy tank out in front. Even if it doesn't lock on within tower range, it soaks quite a bit of damage here. I think Islaw wishes he had Zap for this setup, though, soaking with kind of a quasi-log bait, not entirely light deck, but you know, with the Mega Knight in there, it's kind of hard to say this is a cheapo deck. It's a big, heavy defense to mid-sized pushes, but it looks like Soaking is just going to continue the rocket cycle, and I think he's got the edge in single elixir time. Yeah, that's a bummer.
Oh, that's a finger slip.
Yeah, tried to get 240 damage out the right side, taking out the Princess at the same time, but
you got 240 of the ground.
Night Witch on the wrong side of the tower, and the Goblins are going wild, tearing it down to 748. A huge hit for Soaking.
Yeah, huge hit for Soaking there.
That's a Golem!
It's a Golem!
Oh, what did I tell you, chat? We got a Golem in this old deck. Cannon Card coming on in to start pulverizing this Mega Knight, but not quite enough. The Golem's going to reach the tower, and this thing might be going down. Soaking's got a lot of DPS on defense with the Mega Knight added on. I think he's going to barely able to hold up here.
Look at these Mega Knights just clobbering down the Golems, and this is going to be Soaking's push. He was not ready for that Golem, and here's the Mega Knight. That's going to be the barrel.
Oh,
whoa, baby, what a rocket!
The rocket barrel, but Zap's not going to be enough to finish that thing off. Islaw might have one more push left in him. Cannon Cart coming on in. Zap goes down to take out the Gobos, but it's not going to be able to get rid of these bats in time, and I think that Soaking's been able to shut down that push. Barrel moves on in. That's not going to be enough to finish off the tower.
Soaking.
But no defense for Islaw on the bottom. Well done to Soaking.
Wow, here's the thing. He just threw too much elixir on the right with the Golem. Soaking was able to defend it, and then he threw the kitchen sink at that right side. Got almost the entire tower, left it with, what, 95? Not enough for a Zap, but definitely enough for a Zap barrel.
That's the thing about these kind of surprise gotcha decks.
Gotcha.
When you got something big like a Golem to go in there for the big hit, a lot of times you really need to make it happen in that one push. You invest 8 elixir in a big body out in front, you really need that Cannon Cart to get the job done on the back end. I just don't think that he had enough damage to support that push. And eventually that's what you saw, man. Nice push from Islaw at the right side, does get it down to triple digits, but Soaking's consistent pressure throughout the match does get him the victory in the end.
Yeah, and that's why you don't play Golem at the bridge, Woody.
Oof. You really like to make bigger pushes with that big old dude if you can, but with the rocket barrel at the end there, you saw Soaking almost got the victory right off the bat. Is that not enough to deal with those barrels? And it seemed that Islaw just never had anything to swarm the Goblins either. He was playing like Night Witch sometimes to try to stab him down. Kind of an ugly defense. Sometimes you can soak a few shots from the Goblins if you get it placed directly on top of wherever the barrel lands, but in this case, the opposite side, wrong lane of the tower, bats spawn and get a few stabs off in the Goblins, but they are so quick, dude. They got like 600 damage off in that right side tower from one barrel.
So much, and the barrel even missed every single troop that it wanted to hit. It didn't hit the Goblins, it didn't hit the Mega Minion, but guess what? It didn't even matter, because if the rocket wasn't going to connect, that meant the Goblins were going to go to town on the tower. And just like you saw, a tower got evaporated on that push. Troops played kind of even here, pretty much an even graph all the way around. That all it was, the difference in the matchup was that one play that you saw. The Golem at the end, the surprise Golem coming out there, trying to get to the tower. It got there. Mega Knights were able to defend it. Just like you said, one push was the game, and he was not able to take down the tower in that one push.
And a lot of times, Mega Knight is not enough. That's sort of the thing that is surprising about the deck that Soaking brought here. Mega Knight doesn't do a whole lot of single target damage, as opposed to something like the P.E.K.K.A., which can absolutely whomp that Golem, tear it apart. The thing that really gave him the advantage in that last matchup was just being able to swarm with so many Goblins. They're pretty weak, but when they got a big old heavy Mega Knight out in front and blocking for them, they get a lot of stab damage in there, and especially on defense, the gang absolutely tore up that Golem. Buffed Spear Goblins certainly didn't hurt Soaking at all, and the Goblins landing on the right side tower as well were gotten the win. I think that if there had been a switch out to include Log in that deck for Islaw, do you think he would have gotten the win there? Would that have been enough?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I think that Islaw had the better deck. It's just Soaking applied so much pressure with a unique deck with the Mega Knight and the Barrel that he never dropped his Golem and said, you know what, you can have this tower on on this right-hand side. I'm going to drop a golem in the back, and I would love to see you stop me. There was no way Soaking was going to stop a golem push in the back from Icelaw. It's just the constant pressure that Soaking put did not allow Icelaw to feel comfortable enough to put a golem in the back and just lose the tower.
Let's turn back toward the arena and see what's going to happen in this second game. Soaking looking to seal the deal with this best-of-3 match. I saw splitting up some minions. They're not going to really apply too much pressure here, as we expect the Mega Knight to be able to, or the Mega Minion rather, to swipe through them.
Yeah, you're saying it too, man. The cards are the exact same name. It's rough to say.
They're just so mega. You know, that's why I like the Elite Barbarians and the Royal Giant, because they bring a different adjective.
Yeah, it's like at least it's, you know, not Mega Barbarians.
Ugh. Terrifying.
Ugh. Yeah,
Lava Hound connects, but there's nothing really to support it just yet. Does Soaking have a miner for it or something? No. Ooh, pups go down, and they're going to get a lot of damage off on tower after all. Soaking zaps away those minions, and that's a great connection out the left. Turns out you didn't need any support for that Lava Hound after all. If the pups get a chance to kill the tower, they bring it down to 1304.
Yeah, Goblins easily shuts down the Bandit, and Soaking just looking good, but down a lot of elixir. Oh no, a P.E.K.K.A. from Icelaw. That is not what you want to play versus a Lava Hound. P.E.K.K.A. unfortunately just does not hit air, Woody.
Well, here's the thing. I think that Icelaw is counting on Soaking running only Goblins as his support for the P.E.K.K.A. If Icelaw actually does manage to have something like Logs in his deck, he might be able to roll through this defense without having any little swarmy troops to stop it. He chops through the cannon cart. P.E.K.K.A.'s making her way through the tower, but as you saw, ultimately didn't get there. Nightwitch got a stab off, though, and that was not a bad exchange for Icelaw.
Not a bad exchange at all. Miner getting a little bit of chip here, a little bit of chip there.
Miner would be clutch. He sends in the Miner and a Bandit added on top. Minions are not down from that zap, and that's going to be a huge hit out the left lane. He does indeed have the log, and with that big strike, Icelaw pulls ahead in damage.
Yeah, just like you said, Woody, what does he really have besides Goblins on the ground to shut down this P.E.K.K.A.? Cannon Cart not going to be the answer. He needs something like a Goblin Gang or something like that, but he does have the log to shut it down.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess guards could help, but then what happens? They get poisoned. You know what's going to happen there.
No, Nightwitch.
Not a good answer either. No. P.E.K.K.A.'s going to chop through her, and with the poison damage, she's probably going to go down in one hit. Big commitment at the left lane from Soaking as he goes into the base race mode. That left side tower is definitely going down, but can he tear a tower down his own? He's got the Lava Hound in there. Pumps are about to explode. We need a zap right now from Soaking. No zap. He's going to poison instead, but the pumps take a lot of damage, and the Miner's not blocking for him enough. That tower's going to hold up. Icelaw defends with a Nightwitch. That left side is within poison range, but he just is not there quickly enough. That's keep the Mega Minion off the tower. Can we get this Miner off?
Yes,
we can! Victory for Icelaw, excuse me, I almost said Soaking there, but it's a 1-1 draw now between our two Kesso players at the top. Drafts OP.
Yeah, wow. Unbelievable matchup there, and just like you said, Woody, Goblins, Nightwitch was not the answer on the ground. You needed something to distract the P.E.K.K.A., whether it be skeletons, whether it be a tombstone, whether it be any small little troop, Ice Golem to just distract it. Nightwitch gonna get taken down, one swing and a poison. The bats are gone as well. The log clears out the Goblins, just never really had an answer, no building to really pull the P.E.K.K.A., never had an answer to stop, you know, the P.E.K.K.A. roaming down, and that's why if you play a Lava Hound deck, normally they either have either a Tombstone, you know, a Goblin Gang, something, you know, a swarm kind of troop to really distract the P.E.K.K.A.
Dang, great hit out there. You know, we've been naming troops. I think I'm going to name the P.E.K.K.A. Caroline because she's so fine. Huge hit on the left side tower, and the defense for Icelaw manages to hold up. These guys are both playing big old heavy beatdown decks, but it turns out that there's not enough time for Soaking to apply the reverse pressure there. Mega Minion's a great defensive card, not amazing for the counter push, and you can see one of the reasons why right there. It's just so dang slow. It doesn't matter if you get a little bit of a field advantage. Your opponent gets enough time to pump up to get that juice to respond, and that's what kept him in the game. That's what got him the win. Icelaw ties this thing up against our #1 ranked player, Soaking. He dropped his last matchup, and I don't know if he's going to be able to take a game yet today. Loi beat Soaking. Do you think that Icelaw is going to beat him too?
Oh, that's one of those situations that if you're Soaking, you hope that that does not happen. This could be the leapfrog effect that you were talking about and Trid was alluding to earlier. Do you think anybody, you know, down low could come up, and leapfrog people at the 1 and 2 spots.
I mean, someone down low A certainly did come from below and leapfrog up.
Yeah, low A.
Low A in that number 6 spot managed to get the win over Soking. Soking has started to show some cracks in his armor. I don't think that he's trying to rest on his laurels. I think that he's trying to innovate. I think he's bringing some interesting decks here. It's just that he's not found that secret sauce that got him to the top at the beginning,
secret
right?
sauce. Ah.
I think he's using all the sauce in his hair. He's not using it in the decks.
Too much sauce. Too much toupee army. he needs a sauce army. Goblin gang in the back here. With goblins. What do you like better, Goblin Gang or Goblins?
Ooh, really depends upon the deck, to be quite honest. I think that generally Goblin Gang is a little bit more efficient. It counters both ground and air attacks, but for my personal favorite, I love playing Mortar, you know, kind of quick decks, and I play on my side of the map, so I'm happy just running the Goblins. I don't need the gang.
You don't need the gang. You don't need the guys who throw the spears. Oh, baby, but guess what? Lava Hound beats Lava Hound beats Sparky 89.9% of the time.
Ooh, that's quick maths.
Quick maths.
2 + 2 is 4, -1 is 3. That's quick maths.
Exactly. Sparky.
Quick maths, Sparky loses 89% of the time. Mega Minion to swipe it down. Is there anything added on top? Minions to help out. Sparky's getting toward the tower. Ooh, but the tower locks on and finishes it off.
Yep, Lava Hound just doing work to the right-hand side, and Soking just doesn't have an answer. The thing when you play a Sparky deck is your normal answer for big, heavy, tanky troops is the Sparky, and you don't really have anything to take down a biggie, heavy, tanky air unit, because Sparky, unfortunately, does not hit air.
Pup's getting distracted, following Frosty the Snowman down the right lane. I'm worried about Soking running another, I don't want to call it a goofy deck. Clearly he's working hard to get the win here, but it certainly is an acquired taste.
Acquired taste?
If I could say that about the Sparky deck. Oh, great zap from Soking though! Manipeka reaches the tower, chops it down twice!
2 for 1! Oh my goodness, 2 swings, 1 zap, and that just changes the entire game.
2 swings, 1 zap. We got to get a content advisory on that last hit. 2 huge hits from the Mini P.E.K.K.A. pull Soking far ahead at the left lane. He's taking some chip damage on the left of his own, so he probably wants to make this a 1-0 game. He's soaking the damage for the pups, though, as well, and he's down to half hit points now on the left.
Yeah, Miner just getting chip away. Oh, 1 Goblin! We have Matt the Goblin being the MVP again! Just continuing to just do damage to the tower. 274 now. He really needs to get this Lava Hound to connect, and to connect with a lot of damage.
Sure does. I like that he ran both Zap and Arrows, though. Lots of responses to the little Goblins, the, you know, Bat Spotter from the Night Witch, even the pups coming in from the Lava Hound. He's got the spell response. Nice catch there by Islot the left side. We prevented that Miner from connecting, but the Sparky obliterates the poor cannon cart. Somehow it's still in range, and he finishes it off. Poison out the right side, and this is the big attack from Islaw, trying to get the win here. Pre-fire arrows from Soking, and that's going to be good enough out in the left. And Islaw take the right side down. It's getting close. It does it. Islaw is much happier about going for the 2-1 than Soking is. And that defense not holding up out the right side means that Soking is going to be in a lot of trouble. Islaw reaches 10, but he's going to play with defense out the right first. A Mega Minion flying on in.
Yeah, it's going to also turret the Sparky. Sparky.
It's going to turret the Sparky?
It's going to.
Well, turret all over it.
Oh, it's not looking
dropping
good
him down from up above. You know, I hate it when you're walking around and a bird flies down and it drops a turret on you.
Yeah.
I think the Mega Minion almost did the same thing there. Good defense.
Oh,
hold on. Is that in splash range?
No, it would have been close.
Yeah. Goblins there, get the block and keep Sparky off the tower. Soking's playing defense out the left now, but Sparky can't do a whole lot against the Lava Hound flying up top. This flying attack is about to connect. Mega Minion swiping through the Mini P.E.K.K.A., but the Lava Hound locks directly on. Poison mega value for Islaw here. Takes out those minions and the pups.
The Sparky did a lot there, Woody.
What did it do? It just soaked shots? Goblins about to get the right side tower. Islaw playing great defense, though. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Oh, please. Please, Hail Corporate. Don't do it to me in chat. Right side minion swooping on in with a Goblin Gang added on top. Soking is really committing hard to this push out the right. Miner to protect these dudes, and they're making their way toward that Night Witch on defense, but can't hold up. Night Witch.
Oh,
great. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a Mini P.E.K.K.A. there.
Oh, baby.
Islaw doesn't even see it.
What is
it's
he
jumping
doing?
the tower down.
Oh, wow.
Wow, just enough elixir at the end there. He really committed hard to the push, and he almost got punished for it. Soking really...
Oh, no, the missed arrow. arrow is
Did everything he could have done to get it down.
The clench, he's clenching.
You clenching?
Oh, he's clenching. He's
De-clenching, Shannon. It's over. Icelot has the win. Victory over Soaking. And once again, our champion, our #1 leaderboard player, I should say, because Soaking's not the champion. Surgical Goblin's
the champion. Well, Surgical Goblin's number one.
Yeah, no, Surgical Goblin's #1 now. That's right.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Did you see Soaking drop in the first 2 matches today?
I did not anticipate that, but hey, Soaking still definitely has a chance to move on. He almost is certainly guaranteed to go to the next bracket phase, but his chances of getting top 2 are getting slimmer by the second. I don't know if I don't think that we're going to see him again today. So those are the last 2 matches that we're going to have from Soaking. He's really going to have to turn on the wins. I don't know how else to say it for a match.
The boost.
Yeah, for day 7 next week when we have our final round of the round robin. But let's take a quick look at that replay real quick. I think I saw some P.E.K.K.A.s going in for the March, the mini P.E.K.K.A.s rather. 2 minute at a time. No, we're
this is
middle of the game.
1 zap, 2 swings.
1 step, 2 swings. Mini P.E.K.K.A. gets in there. Can you believe that? Just barely enough hit points out that left side tower for the mini P.E.K.K.A. or for the Mega Minion. I said it again. For the Mega Minion to not be able to get rid of it in time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Zap is just so powerful. Just like you saw there, that 1 zap can be the difference. And if you have a log in your deck, you're not going to be able to make that play. You log down, let's just say you log down the Night Witch. Guess what? You still got the bats on top that are going to take down the mini P.E.K.K.A. So that's the difference between log and zap. 2 cards that they look the same, you know, kind of 2 elixir. They do kind of ish the same as damage, but completely different when you play them in the arena.
Absolutely. Great hit there by Icelot at the end. I don't know what else to say.
Surgical Goblin low A.
Hope you're watching.
Surgical Goblin low A.
Check it out again. Ooh, that's our next matchup?
Yeah.
Low A and Surge.
Surgical Goblin. I was waiting for you to be Surgical Goblin. After we just heard him, he's in studio today, and I'm excited to see this first matchup. Now he's in first. He knows he's in first. Is he going to continue to cement himself in that top spot as the only player to only lose 3 games, because now Soaking has his 4th loss of the day?
Boy, we had to skip through a bunch of games where Nim Sensei and Adam dropped out, but we have still got the best of the best duking it out. These guys are showing us the closest matches, the most important ones in terms of ranking, and some of the most innovative decks to come out since the balance changes were dropped. You know, I was watching a little bit of North America and LATAM. I think the EU guys have got a big advantage over them. You know, North America has got some great talent there, but I'm going to be rooting for them in the World Finals, dude. I can't wait for that to come out. We're going to get a little bit more details about that soon, but let's check out the bans for this next matchup. And chat, what do we got?
We got Low A banning the Triple Ladies, the 3 Musketeers off the field. Surgical Goblin banning Pump. What does this mean? 3 Musketeers weren't going to get played anyway. They go very well with Pump, so that doesn't take out that. What the Pump does take out, though, Woody, is we are more than likely, don't get me wrong, Colton in the NA runs a little bit of Golem, no Pump, a little crazy action over there.
I think Nim Sensei did the same.
And Nim Sensei as well. More than likely, we're not going to see Golem in this matchup.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
That's the safe option. That's the 99 point, a little bit option.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, we can't say 99.9 because it's already been used twice. You know, 99.8, you know.
Sure.
Give a little wiggle room. Get a little wiggle room on that. But, so, the Pump ban really doesn't do much because the Musketeers are banned by Low A anyway. So that bans, it really only bans 1 archetype, the Muskies, you know, the Golem as well. So the bans really are not going to have that much effect in this game, you know, unless you're going to be running 3 Musketeers. You're still going to see a lot of bait here. You can still see minor control with the Mega Knight or the P.E.K.K.A. now. It's going to be interesting to see who brings the P.E.K.K.A., who brings the Mega Knight.
I think P.E.K.K.A. is going to be a more likely option here. I expect to see some Hog Riders, too, because we haven't seen any of those today yet, have we?
No, we haven't. I think players that I've been talking to have just been saying it's so risky running Hog with all the Mega Knights that just continue to drop from the sky. And they also have to deal with a P.E.K.K.A. as well. But the Mega Knight, it just comes down, and it comes down furiously. Miner coming in on the right, Electro Wizard coming down. It's going to take care of the bats and the Miner.
Yeah, only 1 tiny little hit at the right side for Loai there. Surgical Goblin going on the counterattack. Ice Golem blocking for this Ewiz, but it gets stabbed down. Good zap there by Surge, and it looks like things are kind of evening up here. Ice Golem gets more damage, though, than Loe was able to get up the right side. And Surgical Goblin not getting punished with the lack of elixir. What? Loe's running the Sparky now. He saw Soaking do it, and he says, you know what? Hey, I can do that, too. Is there a punish from Surge? No, the minion horde.
That's game. I don't think Surge just made that one little mistake. That's a lot of elixir wasted.
My jaw is dropped right now. I can't even talk. You can't even talk? My jaw is dropped. Surgical Goblin shut down hard on the left. I was worried he's going to soak that Sparky just out of sadness there, but he finishes it off. Zap and
look at the face. Look at how focused he is in this match. Has not changed.
You know, there wasn't a balloon hit out the left lane, but Surge got a pretty good strike in there, down to 2086.
He kind of left the miner to do whatever it wanted to do. I think the miner may have gotten a full rotation on it.
Uh-oh. Surge isn't happy about something. He's got his hand up. Put it down on your phone. Play the game, man. I think that's going to be a Ripperino. Loe is waving at him, too.
Wait, what?
I think he wants a high five. Surgical Goblin put his hand up, and then Loe put his hand up, too. Well, that left side tower is down. Loe is not throwing anything else. I think he's just going to kind of wait for this to resolve itself. And chatting. I know the viewers want to see your beautiful face again, too, don't they?
Oh, I don't know.
Here he is.
It's a little hide.
The admins are going to have to review that. It looks like Surgical Goblin threw his hands up. I guess the match is over at this point. If they determine that Surge was lagged or unable to play, it'll, I believe, be a redo. Otherwise, Loe's win, I guess, will stand there. Although it wasn't a win yet. The game wasn't over, so... I'm just waiting on production to tell me what the heck's going on here, guys. I'm going to report it to you as soon as we get it. But in chatting, what were your thoughts on that matchup? My
thoughts on that matchup were Sparky versus Balloon Miner. You know, Balloon Miner cycle. The Miner got a lot of hits off in the beginning for Surgical Goblin, although, just like you said, the Minion Horde cleared out the bats, cleared out the Balloon, but he left the Miner to get a full rotation on the tower. The tower was hitting the Miner, but guess what? 500 damage from a Miner here and there. You can only take that 5 times and then, you know, a zap. You know, you only have 2,500 life on a tower. So... it was going to be one of those games that was very interesting. And Sparky coming out once again in the CCGS. I feel like the card is one of those cards that you have to really worry about. But we're going to restart that last game. Rewind the tape. It never even happened. Just rewind it. Ah, man. Remember those old... oh, man. Now I'm saying my age. Remember those old cassettes that you had, the VHRs that you had to just rewind? That took like an hour to rewind. And then...
Yes, I remember in chatting.
Oh... we're old, Woody.
Throwback.
Throwback.
We got a throwback Thursday on a Tuesday here.
Throwback Tuesday.
Rewind Tuesday.
To rewind to Tuesday?
Uh-huh.
Ooh. Rewind Tuesdays.
Sure. It's the new thing, guys. Hashtag Rewind Tuesdays. You heard it from in chatting.
Hashtag Rewind Tuesdays.
Ooh, yeah. Hashtag.
Can we get some hashtag Rewind Tuesdays in the chat?
God, please don't.
Why not?
We don't need any of that.
At Clash Royale, hashtag Rewind Tuesdays.
Oh yeah, if you tweet it at Clash Royale, that's legit. Though.
At Clash Royale, hashtag.
I'm sure chat's going nuts already about the redo game.
Oh
boy, we don't need to encourage you guys. I know that you guys. They'll misbehave if you encourage them to in chatting.
That's a good point.
You have a monstrous power there over the dudes hanging out in chat.
Yeah, well, Surgical.
That's why we call them in chat.
Oh, because I'm in chat?
Yeah.
And then I'm in again? It's like, I just realized that.
Yeah.
Chat in.
While our Electro Wizard tries to fix the problems that are going on here, why don't we take a quick look at a video with our friend Loe.
My name is Badr and my in-game name is Loe. My aim in Clash Royale is to be one of the best. I am from Iraq. I was born in Mosul. Life in Iraq was a little bit tough, and because of that I'm really grateful for my parents that they decided to move to Germany. Moving was difficult at start, but it really helped me to learn new languages, new cultures, meet new people, and we have a bright future here. When I started playing Clash Royale, I named myself Bornoche. After a couple of months, I stopped playing, so my brother used my account and he changed my name to Loe. I was stuck with it because I didn't have a name change. My favorite Clash Royale cards are the Three Musketeers because I really like cycle decks and it's really fun to play. My parents raised me really good, so it's really important for me to make them proud. With good practice with my teammates, I think I have a good chance to win the CCGS. My name is Loai and I'm coming for the crown.
Loai coming for the crown here. Well, in order to get that crown, he's going to have to go through Surgical Goblin one way or the other, either now or in the finals on November 12th. So, Loai, Surgical Goblin here. The decks...
Surgical Goblin here.
Surgical Goblin here. Sparky versus Lava Hound. We've already seen that once today. This time it was Sparky versus Minor Balloon. It's one of those things, or is Sparky going to be a trend moving on into the CCGS and maybe even seeing a lot more play in the fall finals? Or is this just an abnormality?
Triards trying to make it work. It's an abnormality. I mean, you can punish hard if you get in a situation where your opponent doesn't have like any card to counter whatsoever. But the joke that we've always made about Sparky is that every card counters Sparky. There's not a whole lot of bad options that you can throw against. I mean, if you just like dump something, I don't know, like a mini P.E.K.K.A. right in front of it, that's a bad call, right?
That's a bad one.
If you swarm it, if you use air troops, if you use any spell that can reset it, if you use, you know, something especially like an Electro Wizard, super popular right now, he can stun and reset it. You get the job done. You finish it off. You wait for it to come out of your side of the arena, and then you whomp him hard. Rocket also can kill the Sparky, so, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to deal with it.
Yeah, there is.
Set up on defense here. We get the Ice Golem blocking this Mega Knight.
Speaking of the Electro Wizard fixing the leg in the screen, it's on here doing a lot of work to the Expo.
Many thanks to the MVP, Jack the Electro Wizard. Fixed our Wi-Fi.
Jack the Electro Wizard now.
That's what we call him. He's the Jack of all trades. Humor from last week.
That's true. Jack. We got Jack, Matt the Goblin, Larry the Barbarian, Caroline. Oh wait, what is Caroline again? The Caroline the P.E.K.K.A.
Let's not strain ourselves. That's a good memory, though. I like it.
Yeah, we got to. I mean, we're naming them. We may as well have to remember them.
We're committed to it now. I feel like the minions had some name at some point. Left side attack from Surgical Goblin is going to be an Ice Golem Gabo gang. 4 for 5 trade on defense, though. Loai wipes it out with a fireball. He's got the balls and the log today in chatting.
Well,
those are his cards of choice on defense. Spells of choice, rather. And that's a good setup. Log rolling through the Goblins will work quite fine on defense. I think it's countering these bats that's going to give them the most trouble. Ice Golem and Ice Spirit, though, can take them out pretty easily. You know, Mega Mini does get a little bit gummed up on him, but the archers can take him down, too. Surge took a couple of hits up the left lane and manages to keep his tower pretty healthy here.
Yeah, Electro Wizard coming in the back from Surge, just trying to get into a good cycle. Archer splitting the back from Loai. Expo coming on the right-hand side. Surge is going for that Hail Mary left-hand push. If he gets down this left-hand side, it's over.
Hard punish of this Expo at the right side. It's going to lock onto the tower. Can we keep this balloon off? Yes, we can. Loai is going to be in a bit of trouble, though, as the Miner and Bats start to get a licking on the left side tower, bringing it down to triple digits. And the reset on the right side from the E-Wiz keeps the Expo from locking back on again. They're both just about even, though. 900 hit points on the left side for Loai. Surge's right side down to 982.
Yeah, the thing is, though, if Surge takes the tower here, it could be over. Surgical Goblin, Ice Golem on the right-hand side with a balloon as well. He's throwing a Miner. He's throwing every single thing he has in his hand at this Expo. Clearing it down. Is the balloon going to connect on the tower? That's the $1 million question.
That's a great hit for Surgical Goblin. He could very variably go for the 2-1 here. Loai unhappy about that strike, but man, looks like Surgical Goblin's moving far ahead. The Tesla having difficulty shutting down this balloon with this Ice Golem out in front. And look, Bat's gonna help out too. Nice freeze from Ice Spirit there, but big damage out the right side. The death damage is gonna be able to finish it off. Wow. 312 hit points gets blown up. Never mind, 40 hit points left, but Zap is gonna finish it off. Surge just has to cycle a little bit further back.
Miner on the right.
Yeah, Miner will do it. There you go.
And that's the thing that we were talking about earlier when I asked you, what do you like better in the bait deck, Tornado, Tesla, or Inferno Tower? You said Inferno Tower because it's a little bit stronger, it takes out things. And if you had the Inferno Tower there in that Expo deck, maybe that balloon dies. Maybe that balloon doesn't get that much value, doesn't drop on the tower.
Well, there was a Zap in Surge's deck, so he did have the answer that, you know, I was worried about if I were running Inferno Tower. And I get why a lot of guys have been kind of shying away from the Inferno Tower recently. Could have gotten a little bit more help for Loai on defense there. But on the other hand, it cost more. Maybe that would have hamstrung his defense and prevented him from building up for the big attack. The other thing, though, is that whenever a balloon is dropping straight down onto your Expo, it's pretty much impossible to lure it away with an Inferno Tower there.
Speaking about balloons, let's watch a balloon connect here.
Wipes out the Expo and then goes in for the kill. Loai is like, whatever, my left side is taking way more damage. I'm just going to have to soak this damage out the right.
Ooh,
but he was forced to fireball. If he didn't drop that, I think the balloon might have gotten the other hit in and finished that thing off right there and then.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those situations where he fireballed too late and he didn't commit. You know what I mean? When you're going to use a 4 elixir spell at any time, guys, you need to either A, commit, or don't ever use it way too late and then be like, oh no, now I took so much damage on my tower anyway, it didn't really matter. And B, now I don't have any elixir really to deal with the next push. As you saw, Surgical Goblin then got his Ice Golem out, then got his balloon, got to the tower, threw his miner out. The Tesla wasn't able to hold up. The death damage from the balloon, zap, game over. So if he used the fireball earlier, he would have been able to kill the balloon. It wouldn't even have hit that first time. And he would have been able to be all right. He's sitting there at 6 elixir. You got to drop it. You know what I mean? You don't want to drop a fireball at, high elixir and then it really not give you any value. And then, counter push coming in with that minor balloon cycle deck from Surgical Goblin.
Interesting deck choice there. We have seen balloon cycle variants before. Surge used it to great effect there. I'm wondering if they're going to bring the same thing back or if it's going to be mixed up. I always love to see something new. Surge did bring something crazy last time. Has he got something wacky for this time? No, just gonna soak some bats. Okay. Loai's not looking like he's feeling confident right here.
I feel like he just doesn't have a great cycle and he doesn't want to drop anything. And Surgical Goblin is happy to just sit here and wait. This is going to be one of those games where neither player plays a card until the last minute of the match. Either that or Loai played a card that is banned. That is also an option. 3 Musketeers and Pump is banned. Hopefully, neither of those are in Loai's deck. It does not look like... It looks like he's seen a ghost, Woody.
Say it isn't so. I hope he hasn't done that. But, 3 Musketeers is kind of one of the decks that...
I think we got the answer, Woody.
I don't know. Maybe we just dropped the Skype call. I don't want to call it too soon. Loai with the bats. And, yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
I see no response at all from Loai. He just... dropped the call and he's not even playing the game now. What's going on?
Well,
might have been a mistake there, and that would really suck, man. And if it wound up being that he had to drop the game due to picking the wrong card, that's
production will tell us if that was the case or not after the game, because we're not going to be able to see that answer. Surge will just take a 3 crown here, and
I really wanted to see a Spark Bow deck.
A Spark
in the wild. I mean, that's what we got right now. But
it's true. It's been in the NA. It hasn't come here yet. Music Master, I believe, has been using that in the NA. I mean, when they play, it's over here in Europe at like 4 a.m. it starts, and that's that.
The Madman brings a Spark Bow deck, but we didn't get a chance to see what was going on there in the end.
Is that the surprise deck that you were telling us about earlier? Is that the surprise, Woody?
That might have been it. I don't know. I don't want to confirm or deny. Surge, is he playing again later? Yeah, he is playing again later.
He is playing again later?
So maybe that was it. I do see, however, that Loai did choose Elixir Collector for that game.
Oh.
So I believe he just dropped it and knew that he wasn't going to be able to get the win there. We're going to wait for our admin team to officially report on this. We had a little bit of dicey, connection issues with Surge earlier. Maybe something happened to Loai. Just got to figure it out. Give us some time and we'll report the results. But as it stands in the game right now, looks like a 2-0 win for Surgical Goblin in this matchup against Loai. In what initially looked like a game 1 that was going to Loai. I can't call it a reverse sweep, but it certainly looks like Surgical Goblin realized what was going wrong and fixed that real quick with some very interesting decks. And, yep, I'm hearing from the admin team right now that Loai used a banned card, the Elixir Collector, and with that, it's over.
Yeah, it's one of those things where bans can determine a game, not even having to play the game. It's just one of those things. Check your decks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times before it happens. And I have my pencil upside down here. I was like looking at it like, what? And, well, that's going to be a 2-0 for Surgical Goblin. And we're going to get into... the next match that we're going to have is Donkey Kong Lupanji. But before we do that, Woody, I just want to break over the Surgical Goblin matchup using the Spark Bow in that last game. How do you think that would have played out with something that we really have never seen before? You know, Sparky Expo instead of, you know, normally that'd be either a Tesla or a Inferno Tower or anything, you know, big and heavy. We even seen Peckbo come out, a Pekka Expo. What changes with a Sparky in that? Because we got to go with the expert here. We have the Mortar Molar. He is the Siege Master.
Oh, you're too kind. We know that there's so many more Siege Masters out there. I did popularize that Mortar Cycle deck, but I'm not too familiar with the Expo. I do know, however, that players at the top of the ladder have started switching Expo toward an Executioner type archetype. That's what one of my clanmates from Reddit Alpha, my man Turtwig Data, was using at the end of last season. He was using, I believe it was like Expo, Executioner, and Tornado. He had done it a couple seasons ago, and he brought it back again. I think Sparky kind of serves a similar purpose to the Executioner there and trying to build up those big pushes. You know, we've talked about like Bowler Expo before, Executioner Expo. Adding something in there big really makes you super vulnerable to a big old rocket landing on that push. But if your opponent doesn't have it, Fireball's not really enough to take either of those troops out. Poison's not enough to take them out, and that can be an absolutely devastating lock if the Expo gets onto the tower. And you can threaten also with the Sparky coming in. I wish that we could have seen the game there, and it breaks my heart that the ban system has resulted in a loss and means that we don't get a chance to see what Loai was bringing. One of the top players in the region and tore apart Soaking, but a mistake there, adding Elixir Collector in your deck means it's all over. You know, when you play on ladder, when we play in tournaments, when we play in challenges, we don't have to worry about bans. You're not concerned about one card ruining the game before it even begins. But in CCGS, you got to be really careful. Like you said, check your deck once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. You just got to keep checking. But because if you mistake, it's over. What do you got for me now?
But we got a special announcement,
do we?
Woody.
Oh.
And for that to happen, we're going to throw it over to Trid.
Thanks very much, Woody, and in chat. And yeah, we're about halfway through the show right now. So we are going to check in on how things have gone so far and look forward to the future a little bit further. So let's start by recapping some of the matches we've had so far. Of course, we did mention NemSensei and Adam weren't competing today, so we got some default wins up there. We've also got some victories coming in. Baron taking down the number 3 seed, Icelaw. That was surprising if you just go off the numbers and leaderboard positions. Loai taking down the number 1 seed, Soaking, in that first matchup. He had a great start to the week. It's just unfortunate, couldn't carry it forward with that confusion with the ban system. Of course, Surgical Goblin picking up another free win over Adam. It puts him in a very good spot right now. Icelaw beat Soaking as well, so he's still right on Surgical Goblin's Cottontails, but with Soaking dropping 2 matches and Surge picking up 2 victories, Surge is overtaking him in that first place position. You'll see that in just a second. But still to come, we've got Donkey Kong versus Lupanji, and we're going to have Tin going up against Surgical Goblin as well. And then to finish off the day, we've got a series of matches. We got Lupanji, Tin, Baron, Donkey Kong, and Tin, of course, picking up that free win against Adam. But here is the leaderboard after half of this week's matches. Like I said, Surgical Goblin currently sat at top of the leaderboard, 12-3 record. Soaking dropped that game. He's dropped another one. 11-4, so no progress made by him so far. Icelaw still in the number 3 spot. Baron, he just needs to get one more win, a little more than Icelaw, and he'll get into that 3rd place position, possibly contest Soaking for the preferential seeding next week. Then we have Lupanji, Loai, they've dropped a couple of spaces now, but then we've got the bottom 4 area remains the same for now. Before we go any further with the show, though, I did mention that there may be a little bit of an announcement going on. We've also spoken about how the Global Series was going to conclude in December in London. We're now in a position where we can share a little bit more information about that. That's right, the Global Finals will be in London at the Copper Box Arena on the 3rd of December. How do you get involved? How do you appear at the show? Well, tickets are going to be £40 each. They're going to be available shortly. If you look through the Clash Royale website, you can provide all the information there. That is where 16 of the best players in the world are going to be competing for a $400,000 prize pool, the winner of which will take home the life-changing sum of $150,000. You have to be over 16 to attend, but please do. It's going to be in the 3rd of December at the Copper Box Arena. But we'll get back into the action for now, so let's take it back over to Woody and in chatting.
December 3rd, Copper Box Arena Grand Finals, the World Finals, Woody.
400,000 US dollars at stake there, 150,000 for first place, and the chance to wear the golden crown as the world's best Clash Royale player. We're going to have, I think, 2 guys from each region. That makes sense. We got about 8 regions around the world. Might as well bring 2 of them each, one to send them on up. And with the 16 of the best, you should be able to watch it from Asia, Europe, the Americas, wherever you're at. It's going to have a pretty good time zone balance from what I hear. Kind of the middle of the day in Europe leaves you with a pretty good chance to watch from wherever you may be. But please, if you're in London, come on by. Check it out. It's only £40 to get in, and you get so much swag on top of the ticket and a chance to see and meet these amazing players. And chat, it's going to be amazing, isn't it?
I cannot wait. But you know what else I can't wait for?
What?
Donkey Kong Lupanji. That is what we are going to be bringing out next. Donkey Kong Lupanji. Lupanji sitting at 7-6. Actually, he's 8-6 now. Donkey Kong sitting here at 7-7. This could be a flip. Bans coming out. Donkey Kong gonna be banning the balloon. Lupanji banning the pump.
Donkey Kong won this matchup as a 2-0 on day 3. He banned Balloon the last time because he knows how good Lupanji is with that Mega Knight Balloon setup. However, Lupanji mixed it up. Last time he banned the P.E.K.K.A. This time he's going for the Elixir Collector. That shuts out 3 Musketeers. It shuts out most Golem decks. And with the Loon out of contention here, you would kind of expect to see a little bit more of those ground-based pushes. What do we expect from this matchup in chat and from Lupanji, a sort of guy who you can never really pin him as to what he's going to play?
Yeah, the only thing you can really pin Lupanji as playing is maybe a Balloon, but Balloon has been banned about, I would say, 90% of the games versus
and
Lupanji.
in this game, yeah.
And in this game. So if Balloon is banned, we have seen Mortar Graveyard, we've seen Bowler Mega Knight Rocket, we've seen the decks that you have never even seen before. I don't even remember because...
Like you're not going to believe.
Like you're not going to believe that you only seen him once and then you never see him ever again. It looks like he brings something fresh and exciting every single week, and I'm really excited to see what he brings out in this matchup. Donkey Kong runs 3 Muskies a lot. Not going to be able to run him without a pump unless he gets a little, you know, a little crazy. So no 3 Muskies going to be on the field. We're probably going to see maybe Bait Graveyard from Lupanji, I want to say. Donkey Kong, on the other hand...
Good call.
I don't really know. I mean, maybe a Mega Knight kind of minor combination. But either way, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. And I really hope maybe a Sparky comes out from Lupanji here. We've been seeing a lot of Sparky today. I would not put him past them. Maybe a Sparky Mortar. We've seen Sparky Expo. We've seen Mortar Graveyard.
I'm going to call it for you right now. I'm going to make this easy for you.
Okay.
Minor Poison from Lupanji. Mega Knight from Donkey Kong.
Let's see it. We're about to find out. Lupanji versus Donkey Kong. Lupanji looking a little antsy here.
Oh, he's calm, cool, and collected. He's good to go. Oh, there's the minor. We got to poison it out of Lupanji, please.
I mean,
prove me right.
I would be pretty shocked if it wasn't a minor poison.
A little bit of chip damage denied at the left. Oh, Tesla coming in from Lupanji. You were right about seeing something wacky from him. Knight added on top as well. And chat, that means that we've got 2 relatively medium-sized bodies from Lupanji. Could see a little bit of a push coming out here, but Donkey Kong be able to shut this thing down with the minions. We do, in fact, get Minor Poison from Lupanji. Donkey Kong hasn't shown us his full hand yet. He's playing pretty defensively. He might actually have Minor Poison as well, but with the Bandit coming out, I know she works pretty dang well with the Mega Knight.
Well, does she have a Mega Knight? That's the million-dollar question. Minor coming in on the right-hand side. That's going to easily get cleared out. Bandit going to get stopped with the Knight. Just such a strong defensive card. Ice Spear coming down on the left for Lupanji. Just getting a little bit of chip here, chip there.
Oh, he's about to soak some damage from this Knight. No, pulls it out with a log.
2 Elixir, though.
Be careful, careful. I'm thinking that Donkey Kong actually probably has a building as his last card, right? Don't we usually see Inferno Tower coming in to support these Minor Poison games?
Yeah, it could be. Log comes out.
Dirty. Log rolls through the Bandit. She didn't get the dash onto the Minor, and that's going to be a big hit out the left side if these minions connect. No, we got a Ewiz coming in to save the day.
He's got no elixir right here to really punish on the counterattack. Knight just going to easily be the MVP here. We got Lancelot the Knight going to shut that down.
Guinevere the Bandit not making any friends today. Knight reaches the left side tower and gets 2 chops up. That's a huge hit for Lupanji. You can't let that happen.
Oh, well, he logged the ground because the minions are in the sky.
Nice poison, finishes up the minion horde at a 4-for-5 trade on defense, but I think that Lupanji got value out of him anyways. A little bit of aggressive poison from Lupanji this time onto the tower. Doesn't finish off the bandit, and Donkey Kong's going in for the counterattack now. Sends out the miner to take some damage from these goblins. Great poison added on top from DK there. Minions are going to be able to finish off this Knight as well, and it's a relative standstill. Lupanji ahead by about 1,000 hit points. Looking confident and strong since in the miner. Pekka was the last card in Donkey Kong's deck after all. Going in to chop through this miner. But 246 is within range of a poison and a log.
Yeah, here comes the Pekka on the left-hand lane, slowly going in. Ice Spirit as well. Oh, Miner coming out in the back. Goblin Gang gonna gobble up that Miner. Bandit gonna try to get value. Tesla doing work. Lock comes out. Beautiful defense by Lupanji, and just like that, Lupanji gonna get the first win.
Rolls through him. Easy peasy. Nicely done there to Lupanji. Log gets the finishing blow there, and I think that the use of Minion Horde by Lupanji there was really the deciding factor in his victory, wiping out ground-based pushes and making a big threat whenever DK didn't have enough juice to shut it down. You know, poison works pretty well, Ewiz works pretty well, but they don't get the kill against these minions. They kind of slow things down and get some damage off, but you really got to have something quick and hard and fast like arrows or fireball to wipe him out completely. Win there for Lupanji puts him ahead, and it's looking like he's got a good chance to move on to the next stage of the tournament. DK, on the other hand, is not in the top 6 and really needs to fight if he's going to win this game and move on to that double elimination bracket.
That he does, but let's take a look at the last 15 seconds of this match where Lupanji is going to be able to seal the deal and get the victory. Oh, so the poison comes out. The Ice Spirit not going to kill the Minion Horde here. The Minion Horde's just still alive, continuing to shut everything down, just not enough. And I think the key thing about this match was he had to waste the log early, wasting really 2 elixir to just prevent a Knight swing on the tower. Then Donkey Kong's prediction log that didn't do anything because he dropped a Minion Horde. So now you're that's technically -4 in a match, and 4 elixir really is a difference in a minor chip deck where your opponent, Lupanji, didn't make really one mistake all game.
Technically correct, which is, of course, the best kind of correct.
Third grade math.
Going back to 3rd grade, I thought we were advancing to 4th or 5th grade by this point.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. We're 5th. We might get there by the fall finals, you know, to like 7th grade. Might go to June, you know, might go.
We're not casting Are You Smarter Than the 5th grader, though. We're not willing to take that leap just yet. I know. The math gets hard, guys, when you're in front of a camera, trust me. But we've got one more game coming up pretty soon here. Is Lupanji going to sweep, or is DK, someone who's known for pulling off the reverse sweeps, going to be able to get 2 wins in a row to keep his tournament standing alive here? DK plays against Lupanji right now. He just got the default win against Adam, so that was a good pickup for him. But he also plays against Baron later on. DK actually managed to get the win against Lupanji in our previous matchup. I think we saw him, day 3, but he dropped against Baron. So he really needs to leverage the advantage that he's got against this guy and turn this into a win. Elixir Collector being banned has got to hurt him hard, though. DK has been playing a lot of Golem and 3 Musketeers, and I think that he was kind of out of his element that last game. Pekka's a good option, but there was never really a big ground-based push coming in from Lupanji that he could use it against, right? Yeah, and that's the difference. If you don't have anything for the Pekka to kill, the Pekka's kind of useless to play. It's kind of like playing a Pekka in a log bait situation. When you're playing against log bait, you can't even drop the Pekka. It's a dead card in the deck. But, just like you said, these players, if Donkey Kong comes back and wins this matchup, gets the 2 win in a row, they're going to be dead even in the standings. So this definitely is a huge match for Donkey Kong, and here it is. We're going to see the lovely fella himself on the bottom of the screen. Donkey Kong Lupanji. Here it is. The Frenchman dueling it out again. Lupanji starts with the Ice Golem. Look at that. DK's unafraid of the Elixir Collector ban. He's going with the Muskies anyways. 2 go down the right lane. They won't die to the poison, but they're not too healthy. DK adds on an Ice Spirit. Good little commitment at the right lane, but Lupanji logs it down. Great counter there.
What is dead may never die. It looks like there might be dead, but muskies aren't gonna die.
That is true. I love the Game of Thrones reference there. Baby Dragon flew in for Lupanji, but shot down by that Musketeer. We got Gibbity Gobs from Donkey Kong on the reverse side, trying to take out this miner. I think the Goblins just kind of ignored it.
They are. We just need 3 dragons on the field here, and we'll compete it. I mean, that's what we were waiting for all week. In week 3, I believe. She said she would come. Denaria said she would come if there was 3 dragons.
We're waiting for her. Nice. We got a P.E.K.K.A. again from Lupanji this time, though. Chopping through this Hog Rider push that DK set up. He used the 3 Musketeers and Hog Rider to great effect in previous weeks, but I'm worried that P.E.K.K.A. is going to be a great counter to both of those.
Well, P.E.K.K.A. 3 Musketeers being dropped here. Does he have an answer? There's the log poison.
6 elixir to take out the ladies. They do finish off that miner there, or excuse me, the P.E.K.K.A. there. Miner coming in though from Lupanji, and with the Ice Golem soaking hits from the tower, that's actually going to be quite a bit of chip damage off on the right side.
Yeah, and Donkey Kong has survived the 2 minutes that he needed to survive here. Without a pump, you don't have anything to bait out a spell or a miner to really deal with the pump, where you can really go on offense and stall out till a minute left. But it's looking
nice
like double elixir.
Baby Dragon coming on in to support the minions there, and one of the archers actually manages to survive. That's a decent little mid-sized push the Lupanji has set up. The target of the tower is the Baby Dragon. It looks like the Ice Spirit's not going to be enough to finish off the archer either. Going in for the counterattack. P.E.K.K.A. finishes off that Hog Rider. And Lupanji's push tanks at right side tower down to triple digits.
Yeah, and here come the Musketeers. They're coming rolling in. Here comes the miner on the right-hand side, in the back end, the Goblin Gang, and Lupanji just not really able to answer this.
Wow, aggressive poison from Lupanji, chipping away at the right side tower. I guess he's pretty confident that this left side's going down. Soaks a couple shots, or maybe actually just one at the left. But no P.E.K.K.A. for this Hog Rider. Ice Spirit freezes the Goblins and gets a chance to stab at the right side tower, down to exactly 1,000 hit points. I feel like Donkey Kong started to turn this thing around, but he's just out of steam at this point.
Yeah, just out of steam, and the reason why is because his tower is just a little bit too low. Here comes the Hog Rider on the right-hand side. That's going to get logged down. Minions coming out as well.
Last chance for Donkey Kong. Hog's making it to the tower. Gets a hit off. Can he get a second? Yes, he can. Down to 242, but that's not enough.
Not
Heartbreaker
enough.
for DK as Miner finishes off the right side tower. Lupanji sweeps the series with a 2-0 victory.
And that's going to get him, a 9-6 record. Lupanji looking really strong in this matchup, 2-0ing. And when we said the bans were announced, I said, are you going to go really risky and run 3 Muskies without pump? You shouldn't.
Madman did it. You just need so much elixir to invest to support that 3 Musketeers push. You know, they deal a ton of damage, but you got to have something out in front. If you're using them on defense like that, there's a great opportunity to punish with a poison log combo. 6 elixir wipes out the 9 elixir troops set up on defense, and they may be able to take out the P.E.K.K.A. and prevent him from connecting, but miners from Lupanji got the job done.
Yeah, miners just kept on coming in, and if you don't have the pump, the pump would have distracted miners, not having you take all the 300 chip from a miner push every single time. It would have distracted them from using a poison on everything. You'd have to poison the pump. You have to miner the pump. It saves some elixir, saves some health on your tower, so you're able to punish in double elixir time with the Muskies. His tower just got too low, Woody, and never was able to really formulate his Musketeer cycle over and over again like we've seen in these matchups where they just keep on Musketeering over and over again and you just outcycle your opponent.
The thing that I noticed about that last push that I think that Donkey Kong might have been able to do a tiny little bit better was he sent the log in to hit the archers, I think, toward the center of the arena instead of using it to support the hog push. We said before, you're happy as a hog with a log if you're able to roll it through the goblin setup on defense, but those goblins on the right side of the log managed to survive and stabbed that hog down before he got a chance to finish the tower off. There were 1,000 hit points left in that right side tower. A hog can do that much damage if he gets the proper support, and he actually was just 1 hit away from finishing that right side tower off. But as the hammer goes down, he got stabbed off his mighty steed. The Hog Rider finished off in the right lane, meant that Lupanji had nothing else to worry about. As time ticked down, he got the win 2-0 over Donkey Kong.
Yep, and no big spell. Definitely not going to work out, but we got a great treat for you coming up. Surgical Goblin, once again, in the studio is going to be playing versus $10. $10. Surgical Goblin currently sitting at the first spot. $10 sitting at 5 and 8. Not out yet. This matchup is going to be crucial for him. He can still pretty much jump into it. But let's get into the bans here. We got a balloon coming out from Dala Tindala. Surgical Goblin banning the Electro Wizard. And I feel like Surgical Goblin's been banning the Electro Wizard a lot. He doesn't want to have to deal, just like we said earlier, the jack of all trades of the Electro Wizard. If a player like Surgical Goblin, who can pretty much play all trades himself, takes out the most versatile card in the game, it opens up a lot of opportunities for him to run decks that we've never really seen before, like the Sparky deck. And other than that, do you think we see a Sparky Expo deck once again in this, or does he play it a little conservative, wants to sit at the #1 spot and take care of business?
You know, people might be more inclined to run things like Rocket when Elixir Collector isn't banned, and Rocket would totally wipe out everything that Surge was setting up if he does wind up playing Expo and Sparky. The only thing that he could kind of try to do to outplay a Rocket deck would be to bait it out. You've seen log bait work very, very well on ladder and in tournaments because it tries to punish your opponent whenever they use the spell at the wrong time. It's a little bit more difficult to do that with a Fireball bait deck that has things like Three Musketeers and Minion Horde and Elixir Collector. It's even harder to do that with like an Expo Sparky Elixir Collector deck, which
that's true,
can try to do the same thing. Whenever you play that Rocket, whenever your opponent plays the Rocket, you respond by just either pumping up or going in for your big push.
Yeah.
But I just don't see it happening.
You don't see it happening?
It was a flash in the pan.
A flash in the pan, the no Rocket.
If he brings it back again, I will say thank you to Surge for showing us how it's done. But I feel like it's a little bit too niche.
A little too niche?
To be working multiple times here.
Let's get a clone. Let's get a clone action.
Little clone action.
Little clone action?
One is good, two are better, right?
Yeah, one are good, two are better, or an army's even better than that. Well, this is going to be a matchup. Dala Tindala has actually been playing phenomenally.
I think Tin cloned the dollar sign on the front of his name, and that's how he got it.
He did. I think
Maybe
so.
Maybe he'll run the clone spell.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got, listen, he cloned the dollars. Now, can he win this matchup to pretty much clone his dollars from 3,500 into a potential 15,000 for coming in first? All you need to do is get to the double elimination bracket. All you got to do is get there. You know,
that's right.
Sitting at 8th place right now, all he's got to do is
$3,500 for 9th or 10th place, $4,000 for 7th or 8th place, but breaking up into the double elimination bracket is a chance to win a lot more. Now, Surgical Goblin did defeat Tindala 2-0 on the day 2. He was running log bait decks and wound up dropping a ton of rockets against Tindala, who was using that kind of wacky deck. You remember where it has like Bowler and Furnace and Mirror and Goblin Barrel? Super defensive quasi-siege deck, but didn't work out for him this time. What's he running this time? Is it log bait? Or no, excuse me, is it bridge spam?
It looks like he might be running. There it is. There's your answer, Woody. There's going to be a mini P.E.K.K.A. in this deck. Oh, wait, no, they're actually not. He actually is running the Night Witch variant.
Nice poison at the left lane, though. Protects this Night Witch, and a bunch of bats are stacking up. Surge is going to soak this damage. Are you kidding me? Left side tower is going to take a ton of hit points off, down to 1032.
Gonna do it.
And he takes the shot from the bandit as well. Surge with a defensive miner is in a super awkward position. He calls the good game, but I think that belies his true strength here. Surge actually has about 6 or 7 more elixir than Tindala has right now, just because it's all stored up in that pump in the back. Tin's going to send in the next push out the left side, but Surgical Goblin has seen enough. He says it's time to go in for the kill. Sends in the ladies on the left. 1 going down the right lane.
2 going on the left. Cannon cart, ooh, drops. That's a very expensive push on the right-hand side.
You shut down this left side push. We got Muskies taking a little bit of tower damage here. Nice timing there from Tindala. Lets that Night Witch get in there and survive just long enough to stab down the Muskies without preventing too much of a threat. And good pull over here, too. He missed 2 of the minions, but he's going to take him out with bats. Great call by Tindala here. When you're down on elixir, you really got to play very clever in order to turn things back around. Surgical Goblin kind of stopped pumping for a little while there and gave Tin the opportunity to turn positive elixir trades into an advantage in the game. Zaps the left side Goblin gang, and looks like he's going for a little push here. Ooh, big old minion horde coming out top, though. Do we have an Ice Golem to block or distract here?
No.
Oh, a little slow.
I mean, that's 6 elixir he had to waste for that.
Yeah. Drops it hard against the minions, but that's a good opportunity to poison the left or the right side. Either go for the 2 muskies or hit the pump at the same time. I think I probably would have gone for the pump in the weak tower, to be completely honest.
It's going to
just dump all the troops on the right.
Yeah, that's one of those situations, darned if you do, darned if you don't.
This battle ram's about to make it to the tower. No, shut down just in time. Good read there by Tyndala. That useless cannon card out the left side, though, gets torn apart by the minion horde, and the right side goblins are still going at the tower. Ice Golem soaking some shots for them, and it looks like Tyndala's actually in a lot of trouble here now. This miner at the back right is uncontested, and that thing's going to tear the tower down if he doesn't have a response. Tin goes for the base race and sends in the battle ram at the left, but it's not quick enough. Surgical Goblin's miner down the right side gets the job done.
Just left the miner to sit in the back of his tower and just took it from, you know, the back, just continuing, the miner continuing to just smash away. Did he not see it because it was in the back of the tower? I'm not sure.
Miner want to smash, miner gonna smash. Right side tower got bricked by that miner, dude. You needed just a tiny little bit of defense out there to keep him off, but Tin's deck didn't really have anything that responds to that well. Ice Golem and Battle Ram both run away from the miner. Night Witch is a very expensive 4-for-3 trade on defense that you really want to use on the counterattack. I guess he just didn't really have a good answer for it when it came down to it, Shin-Chan. What do you think?
The bats, but if you're going to waste your bats, he had the bats out of the cycle, and let's just watch it. Here it is. He had 3 elixir. The bats were already used. The Battle Ram comes on the left, but the miner just... I'm just gonna be swinging, digging holes today.
We're going back to holes. He was swinging. He got the tower down. It's not magic, guys. Remember, it's just a shovel. How many more references can we shove in this?
I don't know about that. When I get my legendary miner, when it comes out, there's a lot of magical, you know, beams, you know, that start spinning around the shovel. Could it be?
In chatting.
Could he have gotten the magical miner?
Please tell me. Oh, you got to know what I'm talking about, man. Look. In the game, the miner can burrow his way underground and appear anywhere in the arena, but it's not magic. It's a shovel. They're telling you, man. They're telling you in the info box.
They told me Sparky's a trash can, but we've seen it in the CCGS.
She says that, it says that she cries when you call her a trash can. She's not a trash can. Okay, she kind of is. Yeah, but hey, to your point, though, I think you can get a miner out of a magical chest, though. So how does that work? How is a miner not magical if he comes from a magical chest?
Let's get into this matchup, but that's a good question. Rocket, gonna be used?
Food for thought, Chad.
Food for thought.
Food for thought. No, I said words there. I didn't just say like, foo for fa.
I was like, yeah, what's he saying?
I'm a scat man now, Chad. Attack out the right. It's going to be minion, horde, and a miner. Big attack from Tin, but it gets pulled away by the tornado. Ice Spirit finishes off all but one of those minions. Great move by Surge. Gets the 4 elixir counter to pull off that 8 elixir push. I guess the Knight provided a little bit of distraction there, but he's going to also provide distraction for this Goblin Barrel coming on in. Tin not showing any spells in his deck just yet. Is taking a lot of damage out the left from the Goblins.
Well, when you don't have a spell, it's not really good. He probably has a zap and didn't want to zap it because the Goblins were already getting tanked for.
He could zap right here, though. Oh, yes, he will. Takes out the Spear Goblins in the back, but the Barbarians not there in time to block for the Knight.
Knight is just so strong. Just, it takes out barrels, it takes out...
You sound enamored in chat. Knight is just so strong.
So strong.
I wish the Knight would just sweep me up with those big, strong hands.
Hey, listen.
I'm sorry, I'm putting words in your mouth here, but that's what it sounded like.
The Knight is, listen, Lancelot, you know, he's a good-looking dude.
Yeah, true.
Ice Spirit on the right.
Freezes the tower, and that's a big connection out the right side for Surgical Goblin.
Tornado aficionado.
Yeah, nice pull by Surge there. He's going to be able to rocket down all 3 of these ladies at an even 9-for-9 trade. No, in fact, he's going to go for some splash damage from the Princess instead.
That's a really late... Oh, wow. Thumbs up. Just to add insult to injury there.
Knight saves the Princess, and Tyndall is not looking too good. Ice Spirit Barrel down the right lane, moving on in. Gets the connection onto the tower, and it is helpless. Goblin stabs it down to 166, and a rocket will be able to finish it off at this point. This is the log bait deck that runs Tornado instead of Inferno Tower. Pretty standard. I actually saw Surgical Goblin playing this on stream yesterday against Toby Spirit Hockey. Did a best of 5 with him and took the win 3-1. Running a deck that, if it wasn't this one, it was very similar to this one. Rocket onto the ladies at the right side gives Surgical Goblin nothing to worry about in that lane. Just have to defend against this left side push now. Expecting the log. No log? No, I guess that the splash damage from the Princess and the Tornado get the job done.
Knight, Ice Spirit, Freeze, Bandit. Nope. This is just great defense by Surge, but is he going to be able to hold it off? Minion Horde coming out, the Tornado. Oh!
Oh, getting a little hairy there, but Surgical Goblin knows that he doesn't have to do anything. The game's over.
Surge.
Timeout. Win for Surgical Goblin. Takes the 1-0 victory. And with another victory here, he has taken the set.
Yes, Surgical Goblin. There's the winner, the crowns.
Winner, winner.
Chicken dinner.
You said it.
There it is. There it is. Chicken dinner for Surgical Goblin. Maybe we might go out with him, get a little chicken dinner after this.
I don't know. He's a pretty busy guy. He might have a stacked schedule for Cologne tonight.
That's a good point. Nobody really knows who you're talking about, but I certainly do. Oh, man. Tin. Oh, what beautifully played there by Surgical Goblin, though. That's why he's #1.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain players who, you know, he struggled a little bit in, I would say, like the middle. You know, he dropped a couple of games. He was sick that week. You know, he dropped a couple of games, but now I feel like he's in his form. You know, he's one of those players who, once he's in his form, it is just beautiful to watch. All the plays that he makes, everything that he does, he really controls the game at all aspects. And we're just going to watch the end here. The barrel comes in on the right, clears out the tower. There's not really much to replay here, because if you look at Surgical Goblin's towers, 200 damage is taken on the right-hand side. That is about it. Rocket comes out, kills the Muskies, and sayonara. That's going to be the game. Surgical Goblin. Beautiful defense all game. Didn't really take any damage. And this is kind of what we're expecting from Surgical Goblin. As it starts getting towards the end, when games matter more, when seeding matters, he is at his best. It seems like however big the situation is how good he plays. The bigger the situation, the more pressure that's supposedly supposed to be under him, he performs better.
I don't want to say that he is indisputably going to be #1 for this season, but with a 13-3 record now, your face says it all in chat. That is a great lead for the champion up on top. We've got a couple more matches left for today in chat. I know we've got Lupanji and Tindala making a return to the arena next. They had a great matchup on day 3 in which Lupanji wound up taking the win, but it was a 2-1. Not decisive by any means. Tin has got to win this game if he wants to move on into the double elimination bracket.
That is true. But we're going to throw it over to Trid to tell us more.
Okay.
Thanks very much in chat. And yeah, we're going to take a quick break just to talk through another member of the Clash Royale community. This guy is a pro player who plays currently for Team Gankstars, but was in fact on Queso for a while. Didn't quite make it to the CCGS, but I'm sure he's one of the best Europe has to offer. Please welcome to the Clash Royale Crown Championship, Mifja. Thanks very much for joining me, man. Take a seat, take a seat. Right. So, Mifja, first of all, thanks very much for coming out to Cologne, coming down to the set. How's the experience been so far?
It has been amazing. I've got to watch Surgical play live on the stage. That was amazing to see. To see one of my teammates do very well low A. It has just been amazing for me. Yeah,
so that's where I kind of want to start things off with. You know, you're on Gankstars at the moment. Yes. Like I mentioned, unfortunately, you didn't make it through to the next stage of the Crown Championship. Do you mind telling everyone how far you got? Because you did make it quite far. Obviously, you did the 20-win challenge, and you nearly got out of a bracket. But
yeah, so I got the 20 wins.
Yeah.
And then I got into the brackets, but I got knocked out in the semi-finals.
Do you remember who knocked you out?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
It could have been one of the gents who joined us here. It could have been a top 10 CCGS player, which is nothing, of course, to be upset about there. But let's talk about what you've been doing to keep yourself busy, because you're on Gankstars at the moment. You've not got a tournament to compete in currently that's running as long as CCGS, but you've been helping out Loe. I hear you've been practicing with him, helping him with his matchups. Talk a little bit about that experience and how you get on with Loe.
Yeah, so Loe is exactly my teammate in Gankstars, and I'm trying to help him with bans and deck picks, and just trying to practice certain matchups that work well for him.
Yeah, so from a, I guess, kind of his coach in a way, kind of coaching him.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how is it to deal with the ban system as kind of like a coach when you don't have to be playing the matchup yourself? Because bans are not very common, shall we say, in the upper echelons of competitive Clash.
Yeah, so bans is, I try to use it as a mind game.
Yeah.
Many people try to do that, and you just have to be a little bit smarter than your opponent in banning, trying to ban what's good for you and bad for him, and then you have the perfect ban.
Is he a good listener, though? Is he banning what you're asking him to ban?
Sometimes, sometimes he won't listen, but he will work it out himself.
Yeah, but I'm guessing you didn't help him out this week, though, because, of course, he's playing against Surgical Goblin, a former teammate, a fellow Dutchman. And, of course, because you played on Team Queso before you went to Gangstars. So how was the experience on Team Queso? And, you know, was you just more appealed by starting a little bit afresh with Gangstars? Just talk a little bit about that transition.
Yeah, so the transition from playing with Surgical was, for me, really big and scary because he was one of the best players in the world still.
Currently is.
Currently is, exactly. And I went to Gangstars with Lowe, at the time not very known. And it was really scary. Team Queso was really great. I got to meet Soaking, a lot of great people there. And I'm trying to see where things go with Gangstars now.
That's very good, like taking a bit of a leap of faith, shall we say, because I know Gangstars is obviously a lot of mobile esports. It's a very big organization. It's growing, shall we say. I mean, I know I've met a couple of the owners when I was out in Burbank. They're really nice guys to know. So I'm glad you found a good home with that. With the Team Queso matchups that have been going on so far, I mean, you said you knew Soaking, you met Soaking. Icelaw's not someone you've come across yet, but how do you find Icelaw as a player? Do you think he's got what it takes to potentially beat Soaking, beat Surgical Goblin, maybe get himself to that higher end of that bracket?
I think that Icelaw is a very strong player. Before he joined Team Queso, he was on a French team, and he was a really... everyone was scared for him. He was a really big name, and I'm glad that he's here with the CCGS because he really deserves it. And I think he can take number 1, number 2.
Think you take number 1 or number 2?
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be dropping, though, Surge or Soaking?
Well, as of today, Surgical did really well. Soaking did a little bit less. I think that if someone is going to drop, it's probably going to be Soaking, though.
Soaking, you think, is going to be the one that Icelaw can take down. But, you know, you do other things as well as competing the Clash Royale Crown Championship. You're also the co-captain of the Dutch team for CR Worlds, alongside with Surgical Goblin and somehow Lowe, because he's a little bit of German, has a little bit of Iraqi.
Everything.
He chose the winning team, though, right?
He chose the winning team, yeah. I think with the Netherlands, we have a really good chance at actually winning the Crown Championship, the CR Worlds.
Yeah, that's fantastic here. I wish you and the rest of your team the best of luck when it comes to that tournament as well. But thank you very much for joining us here in Cologne. We're going to take it back to Woody and Enchanting to bring you the final 2 games of this week of action.
Yeah, the Netherlands looking really strong. We got a couple of players playing. Surgical Goblins up in the first pot now. Strong performances today. Expected nothing less as we are going into the fall finals kind of countdown, as you could say. But those matches are all in the past. Let's look at the matches that are still going to be played today. And the next matchup, we're going to have Tyndall come out again versus Lupanji.
I'm really curious what these guys are going to pick for their bans. We saw them in day 3 choose P.E.K.K.A. and Miner, respectively. Ooh, looks like this time we've got Elixir Collector and Balloon. These have been pretty popular ban options today. In fact, we saw this same combo in match 9 earlier when we saw DK and Lupanji playing. So Lupanji's got the experience with this ban setup. He actually won that game against DK as well. So we might see him playing the same sort of decks. Do you think that that's what Tyndall is going to be expecting from him?
Maybe he... Well, here's the thing. He banned Balloon because just like we've been saying the entire time, I mean, how many times can we, beat the bush? Everybody bans Balloon versus Lupanji. It's common knowledge at this point. So now that Lupanji banned the pump, it kind of gives the advantage, I would say, to Tyndall. He's kind of seen what Lupanji likes to play in the matchups where this kind of set's banned. So maybe Tyndall can, work around that and say, I know you like to play this. You're probably not going to play it, but let me counter that and another deck that you like to play, the Graveyard, kind of craft a deck around that. You work around the bans and utilize the bans. And Lupanji, on the other hand, this is kind of the first time, Pump and Balloon is banned versus Tyndall. I think he's got the little upper hand in this advantage, and he's going to need it sitting, at 5 and 9.
I expect Tyndall to bring a Hog Rider to this matchup.
Hog Rider?
I think he's going to bring the Hog Rider. He's not too worried about the air-based pushes, so he's going to play on the ground. I think that he's going to couple it with one of those big, tanky troops, though. I expect to see P.E.K.K.A., but could wind up being a Mega Knight instead. Lupanji defaulting back to what appears to possibly be minor poison here. Misses the connection at the right side tower, though. Ooh, yep, $10 got the Hog Rider. There he goes. Might be a chippier version of the deck, though, a little bit cheaper with the Goblins coming on in there to support. He could just have the Hog Cycle version we've seen before. Looking more likely with the Ice Golem coming out now, as it blocks the shots from E-Wiz, and Tower takes it out.
Yeah, we've seen a miner. Oh, giant miner switching it up.
Interesting. Lupanji with the giant miner deck. I think that we saw something similar to this a couple of weeks ago. Wow, $10 actually is going for the Mega Knight.
He probably wishes he had a P.E.K.K.A.
Probably does, but you know what? Giant doesn't have quite as many hit points as something like a Golem with a Fireball, especially to take out this minion horde out the right side. It's a big ask to get this Mega Knight to not take out the Giant. Quite a bit of support there. No damage at the left lane either. Lupanji got shut down over there by just Goblins.
Goblins shut it down. This is a lot of life. I mean, he's got a lot of life on this Mega Knight. Oh, wow.
Dang, big jump from the Mega Knight. He's going to finish off that E-Wiz, and that Hog Rider's going for the tower. Log rolls through both of them, but the Hog's going to get a couple more swings in after all, and it's half hit points on Lupanji's right side tower. $10 pulls ahead.
Yeah, $10, just one push, and that tower's almost eliminated. That Fireball almost missed, Woody. I got scared for a second.
Lupanji knows how to handle those balls, though, and it looks like he might have Minions as the last card in his deck. I know that's a popular combination to have both Minion Horde and Minions set up. It's dangerous to have the E-Wiz coming on in, though. It looks like he can get some good work done against those air-based targets. I think that the Fireball casting from Lupanji is really going to be crucial here to take out the Minions and Goblins sent in. Both guys actually, whoa, great Fireball there, right, from $10. You see that take out the Minion Horde?
Yeah, that Minion Horde got eliminated almost the moment it got played. Giant coming down. Is it going to get a swing? Yes, it is. One punch on the right-hand side. Here comes the Mega Knight on the right. Hog Rider coming out as well. He's got the Electro Wizard. He's got the Zap. Oh. Minion's going to clean up, and Hog Rider.
One hit, two hits. Three! Oh, no, not quite. Whoa. Looks like the Minions made it in there, but couldn't finish the tower off entirely. $10 holding strong, though. Only 1,000 hit points left to take out. But that's quite a bit, and only 20 seconds left for Lupanji.
He might not be able to get it down in time. Lupanji's going to need an answer. He's going to need some way, somehow. Hog Rider on the left for $10, and he is pressuring, and I think...
Happy to go for the 2 crown if necessary. Hasn't torn down the right side just yet. Zap would be able to finish it off, but he just used it. Fireball should be able to get the kill after all. And the Fireball duel... Whew, great balls of fire in chatting. Win there for Lupanji means that he is going to be trying, excuse me, for $10. I switched up a little bit there. Win there for $10 means that he, the switcherooski, yes, he's got a chance to make it back into the top 6. Difficult climb, but up against Lupanji, it looks like he's got a good chance here. Well, what else can we say? And Chan, what's your take?
What else can we say? We can say Lupanji is a guy who we can knock down and actually beat him. So for him, this is big. $10 though, coming out with the Hog, like you said. The Miner, the Miner Giant, not really the right answer. Fireball's on point from $10, playing phenomenally. He just won his Worlds match actually versus Soking, you know, for Croatia. So he's definitely on fire now. Can he continue, you know, the success to really, you know, take down Lupanji? And I believe we're going to see, actually, no, he actually is going to get a win versus Adam this week as well. Yeah. So this could be a very big, this could turn in, you might be down low, but you can easily jump up very quickly. You know, he can have 7 wins, and 7 wins is going to get really close to the top 6.
Is Tin on fire? Can he turn this thing into another win? Lupanji brings the weird decks that you would never come to expect. You know, I thought that he was going to have minions stacked in there as well. He had 3 spells in that deck, though. And Chen, I think that he was looking for something more like Logbait to go up against. I think that $10 really, you know, disappointed him with the deck selection, as weird as it is to say.
Yeah.
I totally saw the Hog Rider coming from a mile away, though. Obviously, $10 loves like, playing that.
You were like, $10 Hog Rider. And boom.
Yeah.
It happened. He heard you. He was listening to the stream. He was like, Woody wants a Hog Rider? I got you, Woody.
You got a call for this time.
I got you.
What do you got? Ooh. Either player, just one deck.
Oh, man. Graveyard Lupanji.
Ooh, nice. Mix it up. I like it. There's a good chance that he might actually play that, though. He Was he the one who banned it at the beginning? No, that was $10 who banned it last time.
I don't think we've seen it today, have we?
I don't think we've seen it today. It hasn't been banned today. You know, it got banned in the very first matchup at the previous week after it got its little...
Graveyard and Graveyard got banned.
It was a double Graveyard ban by those guys. So Tin was a little afraid of it, but I think that he might have figured out how to deal with it since then. You know, Poison works a lot better against it as opposed, or rather with it. And against it, in fact, than Fireball does. Both these guys were in Fireball last game. Let's see if they're going to mix it up at all. Pekka from Lupanji, I like it.
Hog Rider coming out. And
chops through the Hog, and he only gets one hit on tower.
Looks like it's going to be Minor Pekka versus Hog Rider once again from Dala Tindala. That was what I was going to pick, but then I was like, there's no way Dala Tindala plays Hog Rider twice in a row.
Well, lightning does strike twice sometimes. Pekka goes for a little walk by the beach.
Do we have a lightning in this matchup after the nerf? That's the question. Have we even ever seen it?
I don't think so. You know, the nerf was pretty heavy-handed. I'm not a huge fan of lightning because it shuts down witches and wizards, and we never get a chance to see those. But lightning got its radius reduced from 3.5 tiles to 3.0, and that means that yeah, it also got a tiny little damage reduction. Prince coming out from Lupanji, though. Nice add there. Didn't really expect to see him either. Lots of single-target ground-based damage from Lupanji in this match.
Yeah, the Prince! Oh!
Gets a stab.
Wow.
That lance hurts a lot.
Yeah, why did we call Lancelot the Knight?
I don't know.
That was a great question.
Well, I guess Lancelot was actually a knight.
That's true.
But the Prince has got a lance, so that would
true.
That would fit better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Prince is probably also a knight, right?
That's true.
He's just a knight that knows how to ride. Oh, Ice Golem gets the pull, but not on the Mega Minion. Minions coming in from $10. Kind of an ugly counter to this Pekka. Mega Minion's going to get this swing in here. And it's like $10 is trying to play like games with the troop setup that Lupanji's sending at him. But they're just so heavy and tanky, they're able to take that hit and keep on swinging.
Miner coming in on the right to zap. Oh, wow. A little early on the zap there. The Goblins came out about a 0.2 seconds later.
Nice zap by Lupanji as well. Resets the targeting of the tower onto the Miner, and that gave it a chance to block for the Prince, who got a couple hits in there. Down to 1077 at the right, but Lupanji's playing Pekka on the left, anticipating another Hog attack. Mega Knight from $10, but Pekka obviously wins that exchange. Lots of single target damage from her.
Here comes the Prince on the right-hand side. Once again, you got to drop the Electro Wizard, but that's not going to be enough. The arrows come out, clear it out. Oh.
Finishing off the minions flying high. Pekka kills that poor Mega Knight.
Again, retargeted.
Yep. We got a Mega Minion to defend this time from Lupanji. Not quite as much to block, but Log rolls through and prevents all but one hit from the Hog Rider going in there. I wonder what the last spell in Lupanji's deck is.
I don't know. It's definitely not a spell unless he's got the 4-spell combination. Prince coming in on the right-hand side. The Miner coming out as well. Miner going to get blocked this time, though. Arrows clearing out Goblins.
Yes, they do. I like the fact that he chose to use spells for his splash down. He's got 4 spells after all. Zap, arrows, the log, and poison spell coming on in. Well, from Lupanji. Look at that smile on his face, too.
Yeah,
he's cracking up.
I think he expected maybe Dalatin Dao to run bait. I don't know why else you would ever run 4 spells other than you were like, you're going to run log bait and I'm going to laugh the entire game. Like, I don't know. How else is that viable?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it is, but he just got the victory over a pretty standard Hog deck with it.
Well, I think because Pekka just hard counters Mega Knight so hard that what can he do? And
Hog and Mega Knight, yeah, there was really nothing that $10 could do to break through. I mean, he got some hits in. Look, Lupanji's left side tower is down to triple digits, but perfect timing on those arrows from Lupanji wipes out the minions. There's nothing else that Tin can really use to distract. Log is rolling through the Goblins pretty much 9 times out of 10 anytime you get a chance to see him. And the spell damage gets the finishing blow there. Lupanji soaking a Mega Knight at the right side tower, but $10 ran out of steam.
What do you think went through $10's head when he saw that poison come out of nowhere? He was just like, because he just saw the arrows.
It was more of a curiosity. I mean, the game was over at the point where the poison got played, right?
Yeah.
It was already done.
Not really. It's 240 damage on your tower. Yeah. I mean, you can still formulate at least one push.
Yeah, possibly. I think he was toast. He was finished off. I thought it was hilarious. The Lupanji was cracking up. I don't know if you got a chance to see his face get in the bottom right. He's like, yeah, buddy, I just beat you with 4 spells in my deck. What's up? I mean, what is the play if your starting hand is zap, log, arrows, and poison? You just sit there and you're like, Well, I hope he's going to play something.
You got to log.
I hope he plays something.
Yeah, I hope you play something that I can log, poison, zap, or arrow.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of options.
I really like that deck. I mean, I guess he might have been in trouble up against Lava Hound, right? That probably would have been the hard counter.
Yeah.
To the 4-spell deck.
Yeah, I mean, Lava Hound.
He only had ground-based options. He had like Prince and Miner. It's like
P.E.K.K.A. would have countered it. Giant.
He'd have to go for the base race with the P.E.K.K.A. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but he has like
Cycle.
nothing to hit up high. I guess he had the Mega Minion in his deck, right?
Interesting deck. Do we see it again?
We could.
We're definitely.
I hope we do. That's a nice deck.
Well,
I want to see some more from that.
We're definitely not going to see log bait from $1 $10 after seeing 4 spells.
Innovation at the hands of a CCGS player, run by one of the greatest guys in the continent. Lupanji, bring it back for us, man.
Look at this smile on Lupanji's face. Dude, he is ecstatic.
What a stud. Cups falling down from the river in the arena here. They just got so many. They don't know what to do with them all in this
no, they don't.
legendary arena.
The legendary arena. Miner comes in on the right-hand side. I would like them to request something other than the legendary arena.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You know how you do that now.
Yeah.
You tap
How do you do that, Woody?
You tap and hold.
Oh, really?
When you're submitting a friendly battle request, yeah.
Oh,
you're
that's
acting
an option?
so shocked in chat. Of course you must have already known. But yeah, I think it defaults just to the legendary arena. But you could switch it around. You could force it to do something else, yeah.
I guarantee you 90% of the people in chat are about to go on their phone and try that out.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Play in Builder's Workshop. Go back to the bone pit.
Yeah. That's useful knowledge, though. A lot of people definitely did not know that was there.
Did you know that actually the training arena is different from all the other arenas?
In what way?
The ability to place buildings on the bridge. Once you've torn a tower down, training arena functions differently from the other arenas in the ability to place a building on the bridge. Try it out. Play in one arena and then play in training arena. You'll notice that you can only place a building on the bridge in one of them. I think that you cannot place a building on the bridge in most arenas, but in training arena you can. It might be the other way around. I can't remember.
Huh.
Unless they fixed that since whenever I last tried it. You never really want to play buildings on the bridge to begin with, but it is a 3x3 tile.
Yeah, that it is. Oh, Mega Knight. Clobbering time.
Yeah, hard counter for that little ground base push that Tim put together. Minions up top swiping through, but the Mega Minion for Lupanji getting tons of value once again.
Miner comes in on the left-hand lane. Oh, look at this. That Mega Minion was just like, nope, I'm going right for the tower. 2 elixir has to be dropped to be able to defend it.
Oh, can't keep the battle ram off, but a nice jump in the Mega Knight out the right side brings it down to 2054. Lupanji ahead on the left lane, though. He could go either side here. When are we going to see a graveyard from Tin? That's what I'm waiting for, dude.
Tin? Maybe?
He's got to have a graveyard in this deck, right? Or is he running something like Golem again? I don't see any reason to run Golem with the battle ram he's got.
Well,
he's just waiting for the right time to send in the graveyard. Bandit dashes around, finishes off the goblins, and it's a little tiny push out the right side for Lupanji. That's probably going to get shut down here. Sends in some minions to counter it anyways. Big push from $10. Oh. Here we go. Here we go. Send it in.
Mama's meatballs!
Stopped at the Tesla, but good defense at the left side for $10. Shuts down that miner, and he's going to go on the left side now. $10 with the Cannon Cart Bandit combo. Cannon Cart locks the tower, but gets pushed off by the Mega Knight. I love that he gets a little bit of knockback damage as well. Crazy strong. Mega Knight getting swiped down by minions this time. Lupanji needs a Mega Minion to get rid of him.
This is going to be a close one, Woody.
It absolutely is, and I love the defensive plays by $10 here, but it seems like every time he makes a mistake, he takes way more damage and gets punished way harder than Lupanji does. Right side for Lupanji down 1802, but $10 already at triple digits.
That it is. Bandit coming down on the left-hand side here. Poison going to clean it up.
And no graveyard from $10 after all. He shows the last card in his deck as a zap spell. Commitment at the right lane, though. We got a battle ram crashing into the Tesla. It doesn't finish off the minions up top, though, and this is a nice little push out the right for $10. Mega Minion not going to be able to distract these ground-based pushes. We need some goblins up on top. They get sent in, and it looks like Lupanji keeps the attack off his tower.
Yeah, Miner coming in on the left-hand lane, going to get a little chip on the left-hand side. Cannon Cart gonna shut it down.
Not blocking hits, though, and it looks like it's just kind of going in. Oh, it's good. It's a battle ram added on top. $10 trying to commit, but it seems like he never really has the right mojo to finish off this big defensive Mega Knight. There's kind of nothing in the deck that can swarm it hard enough to take it out.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw that, but the cannon cart actually pushed the battle ram like a speed up before it actually sped up.
Huh, interesting. Well, the cannon has dropped within tower range, and this is looking pretty deadly, actually. $10 gets the lock, and he's going to try to get a little bit more shots off as well. Cannon's still locked on.
Oh
the battle ram crashes in. Barb's chopping it apart, and the poison finishes it off. $10 for the win.
What? The battle ram pushed the cannon cart closer to the tower, so when the Mega Knight pushed it back, it still was in range. Did you think he was planning on doing that? Did you think he knew that that was about to go down?
I wouldn't put anything beyond $10. These CCGS guys are nuts in their knowledge of intricate gameplay mechanics. The ability to get that thing to stay locked onto the tower got him the win. You know, Cannon Cart, whenever it pops, I just kind of naturally assume, okay, it's going to retarget onto something else. It keeps its target, though. If it's shooting at that tower, when it dies, it stays shooting at that tower. It loses its wheels, but if it's in range, it'll get a lot of work done. And with more hit points now on both its normal cart state and its broken state,
it doesn't
stays
die.
around for a long time.
It doesn't die to it. The biggest change was the 5% hit points. When the Mega Knight drops, it has to hit it, and then it has to clobber it as well. It doesn't kill it in one shot anymore. When it dropped, it used to clear out the shield, but not anymore.
So that was the exchange there, and you can see the battle ram pushing it forward just a little bit. Mega Knight pushes it back, but not far enough.
So wow.
And the connection out the left side.
He missed the zap on the battle ram.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, because I was looking down. That was Lupanji's zap. I don't know if
so
it
let me
help,
see.
but...
Recording that victory then for $10. I believe that he is 7-9 right now. Does that sound about right? Lupanji's loss there means that he's still ahead. He's got 8 wins and 7 losses, but $10 creeping up on him, and it could be a showdown at the end of next week to see who is going to get a chance to move on.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a $10 Donkey Kong, Baron, and Lupanji and Loe fight to the death next week. I mean,
you're right about that.
Anything could really happen. We have to see the matchups of next week, but it's looking like if you lose all your games next week, if you're Baron, Lupanji, or Loe, you could be on the outside looking in. I mean, Baron's now at 8-6, I believe, but Lupanji and Loe are in close enough to the red as you can get. It's going to be a very interesting week next week. You do not want to miss that, whatever you do, because it's shaping up to be a 5-way fight.
Talking about guys in the bubble toward the bottom here, though, we got Donkey Kong and Baron going up for a rematch right now. The German Baron on Team German Stars is going up against DK from Team Nova, the Frenchman. Baron won on day 3, a 2-1 victory over Donkey Kong. Elixir Collector and P.E.K.K.A. were banned in that matchup. Let's see if they choose to go for the same setup here. No, mixing it up on both ends. 3 Musketeers banned by Baron. Donkey Kong goes for the minor. And Chatton, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are Pump still being alive here. 3 Musketeers being banned. Interesting. That's going to get completely eliminated. I mean, let's put it this way. I don't think it's, I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that Donkey Kong's favorite card is 3 Musketeers, and it's been banned almost every game versus him. Not going to be able to play it. He likes to play these beatdown style decks, and that's going to be that. Maybe we see it. The thing is, nobody really runs Golem right now, but maybe Donkey Kong brings a Pump Golem. It's alive, no minor. Pumps are probably going to be played a lot here. Poison's going to have to be played on the pumps. I'd like to see poison bait kind of decks to where, if you have to use the poison on the pump, you'll be able to easily push with a Night Witch Golem. It's going to be very interesting to see, what formulates here. And I think pumps are going to be a factor, especially no minor. You have to really, use a Fireball, Poison, Lightning. I mean, we're still waiting for Lightning. I mean, it got left on the side of the bus.
Clear skies, guys. No fear for Lightning. It's pretty interesting to me that Electro Wizard has been banned in 3 out of the 8 matches today, and yet Baron's favorite card is the Electro Wiz, and no one banned it against him in either of his 2 matches today.
That's interesting. It's been banned against a lot of other people.
And I think that he got Electro Wizard banned against him in over half of his matches that have been going on in the past 5-6 weeks. This is going to be a critical match for Donkey Kong to try to turn things around. He's got a 7-8 record right now. Baron a little bit more confident right now. I believe he's got a 9-6 record. He's doing pretty well, and he could probably withstand this loss, but I'm not sure if Donkey Kong could.
And just look at that. The D Arena has changed to the Jungle Arena. You think they're watching the stream, buddy?
I think so. Maybe they wanted to mix it up a little bit. They're both playing Ice Golem and Goblins to start with here. Little stab on... No, not on any side, actually.
Baron throwing up his hands.
He's happy with the Ewiz. He knows that Inferno Dragon's going to have difficulty.
Look at the smile on this guy's face.
Ewiz resets the Inferno Dragon. Its main offensive capabilities get hamstrung whenever it's not able to charge up that full attack.
And Hog Rider gonna get Mega Knighted.
Boom, big hit at the left. Hog Rider does get 2 swings in there. Mega Knight hurts, but he's not going in for the kill. Donkey Kong
has... finally see Graveyard.
Interesting, yeah. Well, Mega Knight jumps onto the P.E.K.K.A. Takes one for the team here. Graveyard's stacking up on the left side, though. Baron zaps him down, but he's down to 1758. And gives the well played a little bit of respect.
That's a healthy P.E.K.K.A. though, Woody.
Look at this little goblin just hiding behind it.
Matt, trying to get value here.
Followed in a little beeline behind him. Finally, Goblin breaks away. They're going to take out the other goblins on the left side. P.E.K.K.A. going for a little bit of a walk there. Dropped by the Archer Tower and the 2 pink-haired ladies on the right.
Taking a stroll.
Hog Rider on the left. Are we going to get into the Mega Knight to block? Yes, we can. Shoves him back a little bit, and that's going to be a, wow, complete shutdown on the left lane. Donkey Kong doesn't even take a single hit, but we know P.E.K.K.A.'s a good counter to this Mega Knight. Will DK add on a Graveyard here? No, I think that's a pretty prudent response of him.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait till double elixir time to really start rolling in the poison graveyards. I think he's afraid of the minions for right now. You know, if you drop a graveyard in there and they have minions and you don't have poison, you're kind of...
Poison and a counter poison. Takes out the minions from Baron, but clipping the tower on the left lane. Donkey Kong is trying to leverage the burn-up power of this Inferno Dragon, but the P.E.K.K.A. keeps walking out of range, following this Ice Golem around the whole map.
Yep, and Electro Wizard going to shut that down. The Archers, though, from Donkey Kong with the Goblins in the back here.
Good stopping power. Keeps that Ewiz off the Archers in the back, but shut down by P.E.K.K.A. once again. And there's no tank this time for the Graveyard. What does Donkey Kong got to add on to finish off these Goblins?
He's got a poison at the bridge, which doesn't help his Graveyard.
Not a whole lot.
5
no
for 2.
worry for minions in this case.
No!
Wow, the Goblins are going to survive. This is a big attack coming in from Baron on the left side. Hog Rider gets 2 swings.
Oh, wow.
And he's ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to formulate a Graveyard push to be able to get past the Goblins, the Ice Golem, and the minions. Just so many counters. Poison? Is he going to poison him out?
Might be able to. That's a long way away, though. What is that, like 3 or 4 more poisons from him? Adding in Zap Cycle at the same time. We got the Hog coming in, though. There's no jump from the Mega Knight. He gets zapped down. Actually, it will jump anyways. Swing from the Hog Rider, though, and then, oh, misses the second one. Not quite within range of Spell Cycle, though. Baron would need 2 more poisons at the left side to get it done.
And once again, nothing blocking.
Oh, Donkey Kong sends in the Graveyard and Poison, though. That'll be able to take out the Goblins that are on defense, but just nothing to keep the tower from just plinking away at the little skeletons. They aren't able to stack up quickly enough. And with 10:49 left on the left side, Donkey Kong has to put another big push together.
No, and here comes the Hog Rider on the left-hand side, and 1 clobbering will be the game, and there it is.
Hog Rider gets the swing off, and Poison will take the tower down. Good game, well played. Baron has the lead 1-0 over Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong? Not going to get the victory there, but beautifully played by Baron. The Graveyard comes down for the first time today, and we've seen it lackluster performance. Just not, if you stop the bridge, you know, like with the P.E.K.K.A.s and everything like that, and you have Goblins and minions, like what can you really do? You poison. Poison takes a while, 3 ticks to take out a minion. You know, it takes forever to take out Goblins as well. And if you don't have anything tanking for it, by the time you do that 9 elixir, Poison Graveyard's 9 elixir to be able to clear it out, it's already too late. Everything's already dead. All your skeletons are dead. And Hog Rider's just continuing to get cycled left and right on the tower, and he just was not able to keep up with the pressure. Beautifully played there, and Baron, that's a commanding victory in my opinion. Donkey Kong really needs to look over what is he going to run here in match number 2, because his favorite card is banned.
I think these guys just got to stop trying to make Graveyard and Sparky work. Just stop trying to make it work. They don't work well.
Yeah,
the buff wasn't enough. And as you see here, Baron burning down that left lane has become the big game hunter. Shoots down the King Kong, and with a 1-0 lead, just needs another one in the W column. Could Baron actually threaten the top 2 guys? If he wins this match, he'd be 10-6. Still a little short of being able to kick Surgical Goblin or Soaking. I mean,
Soaking has 4 losses. So
true. I mean,
is Soaking play Baron next week? That could be very, very interesting.
Does Soaking actually have 4 losses, or is it 3? I'm not sure.
He's lost 2 times today.
Okay, yeah. Did he have 1 or 2 losses going in today?
2. He lost to Ice Law, and he lost to Low A.
I believe you're right. Good read there. Thank you for the correction. I got to get my little scoreboard here updated.
That changed everything when that happened, too.
Big miss, but what have we got from these guys this time? 2 elixir cards from Donkey Kong so far. Same from Baron as well. That's not going to present a threat, though. Tower takes them out. Oh, you let that poor little goblin get bit by the bat.
Poor little goblin. Another Inferno Dragon, Woody. Wow.
And another E-Wiz from Baron.
It's like clockwork. He's got E-Wizard and he's got Zap. That is Ferris Bueller's bad Inferno Dragon.
You told me to rewind it earlier. I think we've done the same thing again. Hog Rider out from Baron and a Graveyard deck from Donkey Kong. Goblin stab it down, but the right side tower's taking a ton of damage. Great strike from Baron, brings it down to 1688.
Goblin's going to get taken down here.
They sure are. I don't know why Baron always looks so exasperated, even when he's winning. He's playing out the situations in his head.
Yeah, he's like, what can Donkey Kong do to me when I have an answer for everything? This might be the exact same decks.
Looking likely. I mean, we haven't seen the Mega Knight or the P.E.K.K.A. yet, but they're more likely to come out in double elixir time anyways. What is Donkey Kong's plan for finishing off this E-Wiz? Every time he sends in the Inferno Dragon, I'm just like, you need something else there, buddy. E-Wiz is just going to zap away at this Inferno Dragon. There we go. Bats to finish him off. That's a good push.
Is he going to drop the... Oh, no. If you're Donkey Kong right now, you have to be...
Oh, he's pulling it over to the right, though. That Inferno Dragon might get a chance to burn up this P.E.K.K.A. That would be really good for Donkey Kong.
It might walk out of it, though. Oh, wow. Just walks out of it before tier 4.
Lots of damage if that thing can ramp up, but couldn't quite get there. P.E.K.K.A. out the right side, just a little bit above half hit point as she crossed the bridge. Good block there by the Goblins, but I don't know if the tower can be able to take her out in time. Meanwhile, left side attack from Donkey Kong commits to the push. Oh. He sends in the Ice Golem to block for the Graveyard, and with a poison spell from Baron, it looks like that Graveyard push is dead on arrival. Right side, Hog Rider finishes the tower off, and Baron with a comfortable 1-0 lead.
The Baron strikes back. Week 6.
Yes, indeed he does. I mean, he won against Donkey Kong in week 3, and he's doing the same again here, it seems. Baron just has to defend for 30 seconds, and this last game of the day is going to be his.
Yeah, I just don't know how he's going to formulate. Oh, and that's... Oh, wow. Just Donkey Kong's just continuing to try. But even if he gets this tower, Woody, Graveyard's just so bad in a 2-1 situation where you have to take a second tower.
If the King Tower is activated, it's so hard to get those Skellies to lock on. Double poison, offensive and defensive, but that's not going to be enough to take the tower down. Baron gets the victory, and it's a 2-0. Look, he's showing his check from last season.
Oh, my
$4,000. He's getting some revenge against Donkey Kong, who managed to get the win over him. Wow. Nicely done there to Baron. We're merging our victory. Emerging with the victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would have liked to see was, I would have liked to have him have like a piece of white paper, put it on the number, and put what Donkey Kong got on it. After he beat him, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Baron's going to get a $4,000 check this time. He's going to be moving on to the double elimination bracket, where the minimum prize, I believe, gets bumped up to $5K. So nicely done there to Baron, the top 10.
Wow, 10-6 now.
Yeah, that's a great record. He started to really turn this thing around when he was playing from home. I think he might have had some jitters in the arena when he was playing here, or maybe his connection wasn't, right with the cards. He didn't have the heart of the cards on his side when he was
here. He was 3-4 2 weeks ago.
Wow, was he really?
Or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, he was at one point 3-4.
I think he was 1-4 at the end of day 2.
Oh, he was 3-4 3 weeks ago. And then he brought this back. He has gone 7-2 in the last 9 matches. That is what you call playing at your best and cementing himself a spot. I don't think there's any possible way he can get knocked off at this point. he's going to be in the final bracket.
You can't take him out of his element. He gets the victory over Islaw earlier today, and with a default win over Nim Sensei and the victory over DK, he had a 3-0 sweep today. Nicely done, Baron, on the way back up. Soaking took a couple L's today, but he's still top 2 alongside with Surgical Goblin. I think for a more detailed breakdown of how this leaderboard is shaping up, though, we got to send it back to our friends on the stage. And Chad, it's been a pleasure casting with you again today, and I'm looking forward to it next week. Say hi to us at TwitchCon if you're going to be there in Long Beach next week.
Yeah, and get ready for next week.
Thank you very much, Woody and Enchant. And yeah, that's another week concluded of the Crown Championship, and there's only one more to go. So let's see if anything can be done about some of these positions. But first, let's have a look at the schedule and see how today's matches panned out. So we know Woody had those default wins going over to Lupanji because Nem Sensei and Adam, they weren't competing this week. But we've ended up getting a couple more surprise victories. Baron taking down Islaw. We've heard it from Woody in chat. He's done incredible over the past 3 weeks. Got himself in a very good position for those playoffs in 2 weeks' time. But let's have a look further down on today's schedule. You mean Loe taking out Soaking. It's been a bit of a poor day for Soaking, if we're truth be told. Drops to Loe. I believe he dropped to Islaw as well. He had a bit of difficulty. He's lost his #1 seed to his teammate as well, Surgical Goblin. He's currently sat in first place. Lupanji taking over a win over Donkey Kong as well. That kind of pushes him even further down into the red. Makes it even harder for him to make top 6. We'll see in a second if it's even possible for him next week. But Tin getting the default win over Adam. Baron as well, showing up quite well against Donkey Kong. Here's the leaderboard at the end of week 6. Surgical Goblin 13-3. So he's not just first by a margin. He's got a 2-win difference between him and his Team Queso partner. Islaw on his tails, but now Baron as well. Baron only 1 win behind Soaking, so he's possible for him to get that preferential seeding next week. Donkey Kong, he's 7-9, Tin 7-9. They will both be able to get into that top 6 next week if they play their cards right, no pun intended. But we're going to have to end the show here. Of course, we'll give you a quick reminder, though, of what we announced on this show right here. 3rd of December, Copper Box Arena. That is where the Global Series will conclude in London. Visit the Clash Royale website for more details. Tickets are going to be £40. You need to be over 16 to attend. That's where we're going to conclude, and that's where $400,000 is going to be on the line with the top 16 players around the world. We're getting ahead of ourselves, though. Of course, tomorrow we'll have the Latin American broadcast. The day after, we'll have the North American, and we will conclude the group stage right here, same time next week.